Case 2203, McAlley versus Wainsworth. All parties, please step forward.
Susan McKaylee is suing her neighbor, Ed Wadsworth, for towing fees and car damage.
You know the defendant through a friend of yours.
I do.
She is a significant other partner.
Right now they're at roommate status, but...
Roommate.
Correct.
Of a friend of yours.
Correct.
Some time ago, you found a dog or rescued a dog and gave it to your friend and the defendant.
They had found the dog and rescued it.
Okay, so they found the dog.
Yes.
What kind of dog?
Kind of a, you can imagine him pulling a sled. I have a picture of him.
I'd like to take a look.
All right.
No.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
You can hand that to her.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's beautiful. And tell me, you live with somebody as a roommate?
Yeah, she's my girlfriend, actually.
Girlfriend. Okay. And that's the girlfriend who's also your friend?
Yes. Very close.
How long have you been together?
Like 12 years.
What?
I know. But I've been there and done that.
You were afraid to even say that. 12 minutes, 12 hours, 12 days, 12 years. He's going to get me for that one. Okay. Is this the first dog that you had together?
We had a golden retriever that lived to be 16 years old and died this last summer. And then a friend of mine, he was driving to work one day and he saw what eventually became Snowy running around. So he rescued him.
When was this?
6-7 months at least.
6-7 months ago?
Yes. Beautiful animal. Just wonderful animal.
I see he's your screensaver.
Oh, yeah, I know it. In the morning, we'd let him out to do his business because we live in 20.
No, we're not there yet,
sorry.
sir. There was an incident that occurred when the dog got loose and you couldn't find him. How long had you had him before he got loose?
6 to 7 months.
Well, this is her complaint.
Yes.
She said it was January 2023, and you got him in December of 2022. You have a dog of your own.
It's my roommate's dog, and they're the same age.
Okay.
And
do they play together?
Yes, we use them. We socialize them.
May I
They're-
see the photograph?
Yeah. Same age. And wanted to see how they socialized together, and they did great. They became great buddies.
Oh. They're wonderful together. Anyway, something happened in January, and you called the plaintiff and told her that Snowy had gotten out and he was missing and he didn't come back. Was he out overnight or just part of the... He was out overnight. Did you call her in the morning?
No, it was later in the afternoon. It was getting towards...
Okay, so he had been gone one whole night?
Yes.
And in the morning and afternoon of the next day?
Yes.
You tell me...
Claims her neighbor, Ed Wadsworth, owes for towing fees and vehicle damage.
Okay, had you been looking for him during that period?
I drove for hours.
Okay, and then you called her and asked for her help?
Yes.
I assume you asked for her help and told her to bring her dog, or this dog, because they were friends?
Yes.
Okay, he called you and said...
Well, I believe it was his girlfriend, my friend, our mutual friend, that asked to...
Just a second. So it wasn't the defendant who asked you. It was your girlfriend. But when you met, was your girlfriend there?
No, she was not.
Just he was there?
Correct.
Okay. And where did you meet?
It was outside his property.
Where was your girlfriend?
She was in the house. She's got some physical disabilities, and it's a struggle to get out in the snow for her.
Okay. So just the two of you, and each of you has a truck?
Correct. I was also with my roommate. She came as well because the dog is actually hers.
Okay.
And I had the truck.
And you have...
I have a Honda Element, an old Honda Element.
Okay. So this is the case very briefly. I don't have to get into any more facts with you. The facts are relatively simple. Your dog got lost. Your girlfriend called her girlfriend and said, could you help find Snowy? Bring your dog with you because, you know, maybe that will be helpful in finding him. He's been out a day and a night, and you volunteered to go.
Yes.
And you went, and your car got stuck in the mud.
Correct.
And was damaged.
Correct.
And you think he's responsible, and you want him to pay for that?
Yes. Well, there's a little bit more to it.
You tell me why he's responsible.
Well, You know, this is a case of no good deeds go unpunished. The thing is that we asked him to come help tow the vehicle out. He said, sure. He also got stuck in that process. And then when I called the tow truck came, pulled him out, and then he just took off. No thank yous, no covering his expenses, and just left.
Oh, covering what expenses?
Covering the expense of the tow, and there was some damage to my...
Forget the damage to your car.
Okay.
He didn't even ask you to go. His girlfriend asked you to go.
Okay, well,
He didn't even ask you, even if he had. Your car got stuck. He wasn't driving your car, was he, when it got stuck?
No.
Okay, you were driving your car when it got stuck.
Correct.
Right. And he also got stuck.
Yes.
Okay, so legally there's no liability for him to pay for the damage to your car if your car was in fact damaged. I can't even think of a scenario where your girlfriend and his girlfriend would have been responsible. Your car got stuck in the snow. You're right, no good deed goes unpunished. It ended up costing you some money. But we're going to talk about the towing. Could I see the towing bill?
Yes.
Thank you. Say what? Okay. So, Mr. Wadsworth, this is my question to you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
I read the complaint, I read the answer. Your truck got stuck in the mud as well.
That's correct. I asked her, I said, how's the ground? And she said it was frozen. But where she wasn't frozen. I pulled like crazy.
And who called the tow truck?
I did.
Were you able to extricate yourself without the tow truck? Just
No.
No. The
No.
tow truck had to tow you out as well as the plaintiff.
That's correct. But
Okay, sir. So there's
more
a tow
additional.
truck bill for $330. Why shouldn't you be responsible for half of that?
Okay, well, the tow truck driver.
Don't tell me what the tow truck driver
all
told
right.
you, sir.
Anyway,
Not anyway.
so-
I want you to tell me, not a so. The tow truck came and towed both of you out of the mud.
that's right.
Now, there's a bill here for $330 that you say you paid in full.
Yes.
And I'm asking you why you shouldn't be responsible for half of that tow truck bill, not her car damage. You're not responsible for her car damage, but you tell me why you're not responsible for half the tow truck bill.
The tow truck couldn't get to her through me because it was such a mess. He had a long cable, and that's eventually how he pulled her out.
How did you get out?
He pulled me a little bit.
Because you couldn't get out
And then I
yourself.
drove the rest of the way.
You know the three most difficult words for a man to say?
Well, besides, I'm sorry.
How about, oh, it was my fault? Or how about, yes, I'm responsible? Or, yeah,
Well,
I'm
we
sorry.
had offered to use our tow service, which wouldn't have cost anything.
Did you call your tow service?
We called our
And
insurance
just a
company,
second, you called your insurance.
but Sue
Don't
had already
speak.
called this other company.
Don't speak. I already explained to you why he's not responsible for the damage to your car. But you owe her $165. That's half the tow. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
Oh, you found the dog. You found the
yeah.
dog. I understand that.
Amputated.
I understand that you didn't find him in time. He was injured, but he's home with you now.
Home now.
Good.
Yes. I guess it was a fair judgment.
To me, it was the principle of, rewarding favors and being grateful for help.
The tires spun with four-wheel drive, and then I got stuck.
In the end, the dog was found. He's safe. He's happy, and I'm grateful for that.
The judgment was okay.
I would do it again.
I liked the plaintiff's initial statement that no good deed goes unpunished. And this was a pretty easy case to split down the middle. Obviously, if you have a tow bill for two cars, one of them's yours, one of them's hers, split it, that's what you owe.
Easy.
So that was easy. But yeah, the rest of it is no good deed goes unpunished. I like
Yeah. And she was right. But I thought he was adorable when I said, "How long have you been together?" And he knew he was going to get it. And very quietly he said,
one of those.
12 years.
Well, two beautiful dogs and seems
Right.
like a nice life, little
Yes.
bit of property, maybe get a fence.
Well, he had a fence because sadly, I read the complaint and I know the
I
dog
didn't
is
see
back
some of the other
home,
evidence.
but the dog got stuck on the fence and they had to amputate a leg.
Yeah, the chain, the small squared fence.
Right. I saw that and it was sad, but otherwise the dog is fine, healthy.
Nidra Hunter is suing business owner Tamika Young for a party bus refund and punitive damages.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3018, Hunter versus Young.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Hunter, you were planning your wedding,
Yes.
and the wedding was planned for what date?
October 8th, 2022.
Miss Young, what's the name of your company,
Luxury Queen and Mr. Party Bus.
and where is it located?
It's in Detroit
How long have you owned it?
since 2017.
And it's a party bus company, then you must have party buses registered in the company name. We're going to check it. How many party buses do you have registered in the company name?
Well, actually,
No, not actually. That's a question that I have for you. How many party buses do you have registered in the company name?
none.
How many party buses do you have registered in your own name?
None.
So it's a fair statement that when you advertise that you're a party bus company, what you do is you subcontract that out.
Yes, ma'am.
You know where I'm going, right? Do you see any advertising under the name of that company? Because that's how the plaintiff got to the defendant.
I do. I see their Facebook page. In addition, they have a website.
May I see both, please?
Facebook page.
Okay, let me see. We have the best rates, limo service. Okay. Now, is this what is on their website as their party buses? Let's take a look.
So if you go about, when you go to book now, it gives you just these options, 4 options for vehicles, and then a place to leave your message. And that's it.
Got it. So what you did was, in anticipation of your wedding, you wanted a party bus to take about 30 guests
Yes.
so that everybody was together
Yes.
for photographs to a park, whatever it is, and get you to and from the venue to the party afterwards. And you looked on the internet and you found Miss Young's company.
Correct.
Your wedding was in October. On what date did you contact Miss Young?
It was in March.
Do you have any written contract or communication with her?
Text message.
May I see it, please? Who are you, by the way?
I'm the driver.
Are you related?
Yes,
How are you related?
I'm her nephew.
How old are you?
20.
I'll get to you in a minute.
I just found something interesting. So there's a video posted by the defendant on the work page on Facebook saying prom season is approaching, with a video of a large white bus that looks like it would be about 25 to 30 people. And somebody in the comments inquired and said, interested, how much for 5 hours? And the defendant says in March of 22, this bus posted is no longer available. This one being, she sends a video of a different bus, is 15 to 20 passengers for 5 hours is $11.50
So in March
of 22.
of 2022, she indicated that that party bus was no longer available.
Which looks larger than the one she suggested in the comments, saying the one that was originally posted about
Do you have a
prom.
date in March?
Yeah, March 12th, 2022.
And it was the defendant saying to another party,
A different party.
different party, that bus is no longer available.
But here's a different video of a different bus that seats 15 to 20.
Got it.
Lists the rate for that.
Okay, so very good. Well, how come you told her the bus was available?
That bus particularly was available in March.
No. You told somebody else that the bus wasn't available on March 12th, within 24 hours. So in March, when you were dealing with her and her wedding, you already told somebody that you don't have access to that bus anymore. That's what you...
That particular bus, but Your Honor, I have different types of buses.
You know what? You don't have anything, Miss Young. You don't have anything. We established that.
I have access
You
to it.
you don't have access to anything more than she has, more than I have.
'Cause I work with different companies and I am their driver.
You are a subcontractor, and
Subcontractor.
you make promises like you did to her, and then, because clearly, $950, she paid you.
Absolutely.
She paid you, and how many days before her wedding did you tell her that there was a problem with that bus? How many days before?
It was September 26th that I called and had a conversation with her. Would I have that information here that we had this conversation, that bus was no longer available because it was in an accident?
You know, I don't like you to think that you're really dealing with somebody that's stupid. You just told me that you have access to many different companies. So if you have access to many different companies and you've contracted for a 30-passenger bus that looks like that, use one of your other contacts. I wouldn't use your company ever. Because what it was is a bait and switch. You baited her with a 30-passenger bus that she needed.
No.
3 weeks before her wedding, you say, that bus, either you told her was in an accident. According to your answer, you said it was having mechanical difficulties. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct? Well,
mechanical accident, same thing.
no, it's not the same thing. It's not and you don't own the bus. It's not the same thing, and you don't own the bus.
I have access to it. I have access to it.
I'm going to tell you, madam, it's a bait and switch. Now you can stand up, because what happened was she sent you a smaller bus. You want a refund.
Yes.
That's the bottom line. Move over here. You have a chauffeur's license?
Yes.
Take it out. May I see it, please? Well, you didn't have a commercial driver's license in October of 2022.
I was trained to be.
I don't care what you were trying to be. Your commercial license wasn't issued until January of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm a school bus driver. I had to get that as for the drive. I had a chauffeur's license at the time when I was driving them.
You needed this to drive a commercial bus, and you didn't have it at the time that you were driving. Okay, so first you arrived late, right?
Yes, but that was because I had the wrong address.
Who gave you the address?
It was on the itinerary.
That she gave you.
Yes.
That's the information that she gave me.
Impossible.
I promise you.
Just a second. You live in the same community?
I live in Detroit, but Detroit has different counties, different cities. Yes.
Transportation is your business. What was the name of a hotel she was staying at?
I didn't even know it was a hotel that she
What was the name of the hotel?
I cannot remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Holiday Inn.
Okay. Listen, I'd like to give you money for your aggravation, but you got married, right?
Yes,
You happy?
we are.
This your husband?
Yes.
Are you happy?
Yes.
Look happy. All she should say to you is, I'm sorry, because it was clearly, in my mind, a bait and switch. She baited you for a 30-passenger bus, which she did not have. She never told you she was subcontracting for that bus, did she?
No.
Of course not.
I explained.
Nidra Hunter claims business owner Tamika Young owes her a refund after bringing the wrong size party bus to her wedding.
Now, based upon the website, you would assume, and the photographs and the videos that are on Facebook, you would assume that your company provides buses that you own, not that you subcontract to other people. There's no question in my mind that's a bait and switch. That's what it was. And I doubt whether you ruined their wedding because they tried to make the best.
I tried to make the best of her wedding. I reached out to her. I called her. I let her know what bus I was switching her out to, which I have the video here.
Bait and switch.
I understand you said it's a bait and switch. I get to the bottom of it, but I did kind of accommodate her when the situation. I offered her a refund.
You offered her a refund. She paid you $950. What did you offer her?
$950.
You offered her $950.
Absolutely.
In cash.
Absolutely. The day when I switched her bus.
Just a second.
Then again, when
No, that's because that's not what I read. I read that you offered her something towards her next ride. You offered her the $950?
$950.
That's what she's going to get, $950.
That's what the contract was.
Just a second. Did you?
And then when Antoine got there and she wasn't happy with that bus, due to when I explained to her over the phone conversations that this 15 to 20 passengers, it fits 20, but it fits tight. Different.
You know, it's a hustle. What your website is a hustle. He is not a professional driver. He's a 20-year-old kid who couldn't even get to the right address. Who got there late. No, she didn't give you a wrong address to get to her wedding.
I asked her for her information and she sent it to me.
And you bait and switched her with a large bus. And at the end of the day, it's not easy to. Yes, you did. $950, judgment for the plaintiff. That's it. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I work for different companies. I am like a booking agent. She said I'm subcontracting, but I work with people that have these buses.
I think it went well.
We do have buses that's no longer available because those are not available anymore.
She didn't give us the proper bus. It didn't hold our wedding party, so a lot of people couldn't show up.
They didn't accommodate because she had big people.
It was very sad and heartbreaking. My kids couldn't be there, my brother.
We was there, we gave the service, even though it wasn't that bus.
Had a wonderful time.
And they had a wonderful time. They played, they had fun on the bus, they danced, they took pictures.
No, I mean, we made the best that we could out of the situation.
When I accommodated to give her a refund the day of the event, she didn't want it. She wanted the bus.
Never will work with them again.
You know, I think I have a personal, as much as a judicial, negative sense of business people like this woman who clearly has a business that she operates out of her kitchen because she doesn't have any transportation vehicles. She will get a client from a website, and then she'll call around and see what vehicles from other companies are available. And then she has a nephew, maybe a son, maybe another nephew, maybe a gotcha. So, and she'll get a driver, because he said that he drives a school bus.
Yes.
I don't know why somebody would let him drive a school bus when he's 19 years old.
Issue for another day.
But that's for another day. But you don't realize when you do that, somebody spends a year planning a special day.
Of course. The business plan is all messed up from the jump.
Yeah.
I think when you are offering what you call a top-tier service and you don't actually own or have control over any of the assets necessary to run that business, then you're waiting for trouble, because
you're waiting to disappoint people.
Exactly. It's all going to be a disappointment, but lucky for the defendant, she's never at fault because it's not her bus.
Yeah.
So she never, I couldn't get access, I couldn't this, I couldn't that. It's always a push-off. Yeah. And so for people like the plaintiff, make sure when you're interviewing companies that, number one, they own the assets that they're alleging, that they have full and complete control over those. So if they say there's a conflict, you know who to go after in that situation. So unfortunate, but the right thing happened.
Yeah, and she's married. And she says she's happy.
Case number.
Godwin Onyebujour is suing his child's mother, Deanna Williams, for assault, false arrest, and parking tickets.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3058, Onyebujour versus Williams.
Thank you. Mr. Onyebujour, you have one child with the defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
And one on the way.
I'm not sure if it's mine yet, Your Honor.
Well, she says it's yours. And you were, in fact, living together.
At the time, not right now.
You were living together from when to when?
From January this year till about April.
So the one child that you have together was conceived when you were not living together?
We're living together. The first child we had, we're living together at my parents.
And how long were you living with your parents?
About throughout the whole time, my daughter was born.
When was that?
May 12, 2018. She was born.
How long were you living with her at your parents' house?
We're living together the whole time before we moved out.
Give me the time frame. How many years? From when to when?
About 5 years. Sorry. Yeah, no.
So that would be from 2013 to 2018, or from 2018 to 2023?
2018 to 23.
So you've been constantly living together.
Yeah,
both at your parents' house and then in this apartment that you leased.
Yeah, between those times, we moved out together to Long Beach, but we moved back in with my parent as well. So
fine. So you moved back and forth, but you've been together with her since 2018.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
When did she marry your brother? In what year?
It's my cousin, not my brother.
Just a second.
Okay.
Actually, it's who?
It's my cousin, not my brother.
Your cousin?
Yes.
When did she marry your cousin?
I think I had to be 20.
When did you marry his cousin?
In February 2018.
Were you living together at the time she married your cousin?
No, we weren't.
And in what month did you start living with him at his parents' house?
About after I had my daughter, May 14th, 2018.
Well, clearly you were with him before you moved into his parents' house.
Yes.
Because if your daughter was born, I'm not really good in math, but clearly you were together, even if you weren't living with his parents, when you married his cousin.
His brother.
You say his brother, he says his cousin, his relative.
It's his brother.
And where was his relative?
In Nigeria.
Is he now here?
Yes.
And are you in the process of divorcing?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not him, is it?
That's him right there, yes.
Oh, that would be you right there.
Yes, ma'am.
I would make a beeline for the door. No, sit down.
All right.
Okie dokie. It is your claim that the defendant assaulted you on several occasions. You're going to tell me when. That in addition to her assaulting you, she vandalized your home during your last argument.
Yes, Your Honor.
By throwing grease on the kitchen walls from a fry pan.
Yes, Your Honor.
That you purchased a car that allegedly was supposed to be her car, but it's in your name because you had better credit, according to her. That after this breakup, she took the car. And while she had the car, she racked up hundreds of dollars in parking tickets or other toll fines.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've subsequently taken back the car.
No, Your Honor. I purchased a car. She never has a job. I work 2 jobs.
Could you just answer my question? Did you subsequently take back the car?
The vehicle is mine, Your Honor. I took it back, Your Honor. Yes, yes.
Just answer. You took it back from her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you're suing her for the tickets that you racked up on the car because the car is in your name.
Yes, Your Honor.
She says, no, you're violent. You assaulted her. Oh, and you're also suing her for false arrest. A lot going on here. You're suing him because you say he abused you, and it was really your car. It was just in his name, as I said, because he had a better credit score. You didn't address the parking fines, but you want something for this car. Okay, just for my own information, Miss Williams, your daughter is now 5?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're expecting another?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a massage therapist.
For whom?
I'm just on my own. I just graduated.
So you're not doing it yet?
No, but I've been...
Just a second. Did you file income tax returns last year?
Yes.
How much did you earn last year when you filed your income tax returns? You personally? Just be very careful.
Yeah.
How much did you claim that you earned if you filed income tax?
Well, I had a W-2. I was previously working at the DMV.
And how much did you earn?
About 25 to 30K.
Okay. Let's get to the assaults that you reference, sir, in your complaint. We're going to do assaults first. When was the first assault?
It was in February 2023.
I don't want to get to the first assault because after February 2023, you moved back together.
Yeah, temporary.
Just a second.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you were assaulted. You went to the hospital. You had broken ribs.
Yes, Your Honor.
Police were called, and you weren't together at that time. She left the house.
Yes, Your Honor, because she has a restraining order.
You filed a restraining order against her. But then you invited her back to the house in March.
I never invited her. She came back to the house, and I never...
Just a second.
Yes.
When she came back in March, did she come back in March and stay for a period of time? Just be careful.
Yes, Your Honor.
We're going to...
Yes, Your Honor.
We're not going to play a mind game here, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
She came back.
Yes, Your Honor.
You agreed that she could come back.
Yeah, because her name is on the lease. I can't kick her out. Yes, Your
Not
Honor.
because her name may be on the lease. You couldn't kick her out. Did you sleep with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sleep with her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's not on a lease anywhere because she's married to your brother. Do you understand?
My cousin, Your Honor.
Cousin. Okay. Do you understand? So you invited her back to the house after this assault. And in the law, you know what we call that? Condonation. Well, it was an assault, but you forgave her because you invited her back to the house.
She has no place to go. I had to let her...
I don't, listen, shoulda, woulda, coulda. If you say she came back because she was on the lease, she had no place to go, that would make you altruistic. Sleeping with her is a different situation. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So all 3 were true. She was on the lease.
Yes, Your Honor.
She had no place to go.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you slept with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
There we go. That's called condonation. That may be an expensive condonation for you, but it's condonation. Now, so she moves back in March, and what's next?
She moved back in March, and we had an incident where I gave my daughter my phone, and she takes the phone from her, and she kept going through my phone while I was sleeping because I worked 2 jobs. In between those times,
Just a second. So she took your phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
And she looked through your phone.
Yeah, she does that frequently. Well, most of the time she does.
I don't care. Every woman does the same thing. Men do it too. So she looked through your phone.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what did she find?
She said she found a lady that bought a car from me because I sold the car to a friend of hers. She said I was talking to her, and she got mad over me talking to her.
Just a second. So she found that you were talking to another lady.
Yes, Your Honor. That's our friend.
Just a second. Don't explain yourself to me, sir. I'm still trying to figure out the brother-cousin.
We were texting.
Sure claims his child's mother, Deanna Williams, assaulted him and had him falsely arrested. Deanna is countersuing, claiming Godwin assaulted her multiple times.
Okay. When she looked through the phone, where were you?
I was laying down in the bedroom.
This was in March?
Yes, Your Honor.
March what?
I think it was March 28th.
And you were lying down and?
She kicked down the door and she came into the room and she hit me upside the head with a perfume bottle.
Not the phone.
No, not the phone. Because my daughter had the phone. I thought my daughter had the phone, but when she came into the room, she kept asking me, "Who was that? Were you talking to this person?" And I said, "Yeah, but nothing sexual or nothing like bad about my conversation with her." But she was mad about it, because she got aggressive. So she hit me upside the head with a perfume bottle, punched me in the eyes, and she ran out the door with my daughter.
This was March 28th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Were you treated for that anywhere?
No, I wasn't, Your Honor.
Did you take any photographs of it?
The police did.
May I see them?
I don't have it right now, man.
The police were called.
They were called because I went to work that day. Because as soon as the incident happened, she took my phone, she ran out the door, so I couldn't call the police. So I went straight to work. So they came to my job to arrest me. That she had scratched herself because after they released me, she told me that she did that because she thought she was going to get arrested for hitting me.
Because she had a prior restraining order.
Yes, Your Honor.
What happened to that case?
It's dismissed.
Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
What do you mean you believe so?
I have evidence.
I was never notified. Just from what he told me, the case was dismissed.
Well, why don't you tell me what happened, your version of what happened on March 28th? March 28th, you were looking in his phone. You were looking in his phone. Listen to me, be very careful. March 28th, you were looking in his phone.
It was March 29th.
March 29th, you were looking at his phone. And?
I was looking in his phone. I found messages and cash apps of him sending another woman money.
Now, in what room in the apartment were you when you were looking at the phone?
So this incident is not related to what he's talking about. That was the night before.
That's March 28th.
No, March 29th. This incident happened on March 30th. So previously, the night before, I had found the messages. I had questioned him about it. He said it wasn't anything. He wasn't doing anything, blah, blah, blah. The next day, which was a Thursday, I was in the bedroom. Mr. Onyebajor was in the living room with my daughter. We were texting back and forth, talking, when he disclosed to me that he was, in fact, cheating on me with an acquaintance of mine. I wouldn't call her a friend, and that she was pregnant. I have the text message.
You have those text messages?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that correct, sir? That's either a yes or a no. She says she has the text messages.
Your Honor, no, because she has my phone.
Just a second. May I see the text message?
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Did you write in a text message to her, listen to me, that you were having a relationship, I didn't finish the question yet, in sum and substance, you were having a relationship with someone else and the person was now pregnant with your child?
I never wrote, no, Your Honor.
Okay, may I see it, please?
She has my phone the whole time.
May I see it? Before I look at this, sir, I'm going to give you one more chance. Were you having a relationship with someone else prior to March 28th?
No.
Yes or no?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Did another woman advise you that she was pregnant with your child?
No, Your Honor, I don't have no child.
You go.
Your Honor, I also have the messages between him and her.
Just a second.
Excuse me.
Yep, because you don't take it out of my wallet. Referring to this other woman. Wow, finally you're a man and admit that. How long have you been with her? Your response, she's pregnant too. Over 1 year.
Your Honor, she has my phone. Whatever.
Just a second. Just watch this time. The car it says cat. I assume it means car is going to be taken away. You better run this time. You threatening me? You can't take the car. I have a contract. You say she's a better person than you will ever be. I'm going to take that car away and give it to her. That sound familiar to you? Stop waving. That sound familiar to you?
No, Your Honor, I never.
What do you mean no? That's from your phone.
She has access to she takes my phone and take off with it. She makes up all these stories.
I'm talking about your phone, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. She has my phone. Majority of the time, she has my phone. She texts random.
So you mean she was texting from her phone and then back and forth to herself and your phone, and she was creating this?
There's a possibility.
What's the name? What's the name of the woman?
Jennifer Velez. I have text messages between them also.
May I see them, please?
Of course, ma'am.
Okay, so what happens is when she gets your phone, she's able to make copies of what your conversations are, not only with her, but with Jennifer. Do you understand?
I don't have no, that's her friend. I don't have no relationship with her friend. They were friends. I sold the car to her, that was it.
I don't know whose messages these are.
The gray is her, and then the green is him. And those are the messages from her to him, asking him for money, telling him to delete the messages.
Okay, so now we're at March 28th, 29th, and 30th, somewhere around there. You're up.
Yes, ma'am. So I was in the bedroom. He was in the living room. That's when we were exchanging those text messages, when he had admitted that he was, in fact, cheating on me and the woman was pregnant. When I received those text messages, I kind of put me into a panic attack.
You got angry.
Yeah, I got angry. I was kind of hyperventilating. I was like, you know.
Got it.
Yes, ma'am. So I was in the bedroom with the door locked. He came to the bedroom door, started banging on it, telling me to let him in. I did not open the door. I continued crying pretty hysterically. And that's when he proceeded to break through the door. He entered into the bedroom and immediately started assaulting me. He was hitting me. I was sitting on the edge of the bed. He grabbed me by my hair. He just kept...
Did you seek medical assistance?
Yes, I did.
Can I see the medical report?
I have the police report.
Who did you seek medical treatment from?
So I went to the hospital.
Just a second. Let me see the report from the hospital.
I don't have that.
It doesn't help me.
I don't have that with me.
And it doesn't help me.
Okay.
Then it doesn't help me. Says she ultimately refused being transported to the hospital.
Yes, because
Not because. That's what it says.
No, yeah. I drove myself. I didn't want to go on.
I don't know that because you don't have a report. You want to tell me?
His child's mother, Deanna Williams, of assaulting him and lying to the police. Deanna claims she was the one assaulted.
Now, you left the hospital prior to treatment. Is that right?
Yes.
Just say yes or no. Yes, you left the hospital prior to treatment. Can I see what happened with this case? You were arrested.
Yeah, I was arrested.
You were arrested on this case, and that's the false arrest that you have.
False arrest.
That's a false arrest that you have. May I please see the district attorney's write-up on that, or whatever you have that indicates the case was dismissed?
I think it's one of them. Okay, sorry. Let me double check on.
And while you're looking through documents, I'd like to see proof of the tickets that she got.
This was dismissed.
This incident occurred in April.
That's the last one she got arrested, when she broke the wall.
No. I understand.
Oh, that's a dismissal?
I'm talking about the dismissal.
It's right there, Your Honor.
Yeah, the city attorney decided that they were not going to prosecute this case and advised you that there was no need to report to court to answer the charges. All right, then I want you to tell me what happened in this April incident when she damaged your kitchen. I'm going to go from one to the other. You went back to the apartment after all this happened. You went back to the apartment in April. What for?
To pick up my clothes. Mr. Onyebujor said he had them in bags on the front porch.
And what happened when you got there?
When I got there, I contacted the police.
Why?
So they could meet me there, so it could be a peaceful exchange. The dispatcher, I told...
Don't tell me what they told you or you told them. You got to the house.
I got to the house. The door was open.
Just a second. Were there bags on the porch?
No, ma'am, there was not.
Okay. The door was open in April. Now, you had, according to you, this violent attack in March. Stop looking through your papers. You had this violent incident in March.
Yes.
So you go back to the house, and you walked into the house because the door was open.
Yes.
And then what happened?
I started to collect my things.
How did you start to do that?
I went into the kitchen and I was getting my things.
What things?
My blender, my...
No, that's not your clothes, madam.
Well, I had
That's not your clothes.
Okay.
You said, I wanted to get my clothes, and he was going to put them in a bag. Now, you opened the door, you went into the kitchen, and you started to take, that's what you just told me.
The door was open.
The door was open. You went into the kitchen and started to take your things. What things? I started to take my blender.
All of my things.
Just a second. I don't know whose things they are, madam. You started to take things that weren't your clothes.
Okay.
And then what happened?
And then the brother saw me and told Mr. Onibujor, who was in the restroom, that I was there.
And?
I started to quickly get out of the kitchen.
How did you do that?
I went to grab the stuff and I went out.
So you went to leave the kitchen with the stuff from the kitchen?
The blender, yes.
The blender. And?
Mr. Onibujor came out of the bathroom and he attempted to take my phone. He lunged at me to take my phone. He had his hands...
Just a second. I thought, what was your phone there for? You had the blender.
I had the blender like this, and I had my phone like this.
Go ahead. So we went to take the phone.
So I dropped the blender, and I'm fighting to take my phone back from him. I believe he was trying to take my phone away.
I don't know what he was trying to do, madam.
Yeah, he was trying to take my phone.
You were fighting back and forth with your phone. You dropped the blender, and?
So then there by the stove there was a frying pan. I picked up the frying pan to I was gonna hit him. He backed off. I ran out of the apartment with nothing but my phone.
And no clothes.
No clothes.
Well, you came for your clothes. You should have taken your clothes.
Yeah, I'm kind of, just with everything going on, I was just very emotionally distraught. And
okay, fine. Now, were you driving the car when this ticket came in? Notice date April the 3rd. Is this the only ticket that you have?
That's the only one I could get out, but she has 2 more tickets.
Well, I don't know if she has or not, sir, because that's evidence. And evidence is the only thing that I work on. This is an old ticket, madam.
Yes, I paid the tickets. I have my bank statement.
Did you pay? Let me see that this ticket was paid.
Just let me know the date, please.
The citation date was November 30th, 2022.
And the notice date was...
And you parked in disabled parking.
No, Your Honor, that was him. He took the vehicle up to the mall, and that was him. That was his ticket.
You want to know something? You know how much I don't care? I actually think that the two of you deserve each other.
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You want to tell me how it came about that the mother of your 2 children, one and one to be, how she came to marry your cousin?
I didn't know about that at first. We went to Africa before he started talking to him, because at that time we're not together. We separate many times, many occasions, because sometimes we break up and she'll go back to her ex. It's always in and out of jail. So and like I said, she has a previous.
How many times, Miss Williams, have you been to Africa?
Twice.
When?
February 2018.
And what did you go there for?
We went there to marry his brother.
And tell me what the circumstances were.
The circumstances were Godwin, persuaded me.
This is Godwin?
This is Godwin, yes, ma'am. My boyfriend. We were never broken up. Persuaded me to marry his brother so he could be able to come over here.
Oh. And did you?
Yes, ma'am.
And did he come over here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and he's here.
And he's here.
Prior to February of 2018, had you ever met his cousin brother?
No, ma'am.
Okay, your case is dismissed, sir. So's yours. We're done here. You deserve each other.
This court is adjourned.
I thought it wasn't fair because I think she just know how to manipulate the system.
I mean, she's fair.
She's a pathological liar.
He's I would say, a Nigerian scammer, and I was scammed, but I allowed myself to be.
She's never want to make changes for better for herself. She always want to just have a way in every situation.
He's narcissistic. He's a sociopath. He's just honestly the worst person. And anybody who comes in contact with him should run.
We fell in love over the phone. We started talking. We got connected.
I'm divorcing him.
Just swimming full of lies. She's like a habitual liar. She just love to lie, and she can't change that about her.
I hope he continues denying my son, and I can just go on and be happy without him because he's horrible.
I think the key takeaway of that is if you're going to commit a federal crime,
Don't subject yourself to a court's jurisdiction. Just sign away. Yep. Okay. That seems like a terrible one-step thinking plan.
You're absolutely right.
They thought that you wanted to hear squabble between his side, her side, arguing, fighting, multiple instances of what they call assault, when the underlying factor is there was a major federal crime committed here.
I don't know why they would subject themselves. You're absolutely right.
Oh, man.
Foolish.
Skylar Ramirez is suing her former friend, Chris Martinez, for an unpaid loan and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case number 3073, Ramirez versus Martinez, Judge.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Yes.
Miss Ramirez, this gentleman is a friend of your boyfriend.
Yes, was.
He was a friend of your boyfriend.
Yes.
No longer, I assume, because of this incident.
Yeah.
And I gather that all of you are very involved in cars, fixing them up, souping them up, making them pretty, whatever it is. It is your claim that the defendant, Mr. Martinez, wanted rims for his car. I must tell you, I haven't had a rims case in many years. And rims are expensive. The rims that you wanted, sir, were $1,200.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you didn't have the $1,200.
No, Your Honor.
And according to you, Ms. Ramirez, you gave him $800 of the $1,200 as a loan.
Yes, Your Honor.
We'll get into the specifics of how that came about, and you haven't been repaid. That's why you're here.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long have you known each other?
The two of us, like 7, 8 months maybe.
What's your boyfriend's name?
Nathan.
Nathan, how long have you known Mr. Martinez?
I've known him for a couple years now, maybe about 6 years.
6 is more than a couple.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
6 years. Mr. Ramirez, I want you to tell me the circumstances surrounding this transfer of $800 to Mr. Martinez.
It was a conversation between the two of us. He explained that...
Just the two of you? Your boyfriend wasn't there?
It was just the two of us at Brittany's house. And we were
Who's Brittany?
Brittany is his girlfriend.
Was it your house?
Yes. We had a conversation that he wanted to acquire some rims and didn't have the credit score for it.
Didn't have the credit score?
Yes.
Okay. So you were originally going to take out a loan to buy the rims?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when was that, Mr. Martinez?
It was towards the end of March of 2023.
You went to a finance company?
I used to work for a tire shop, and they do financing there. And then that's when Ms. Ramirez...
No, Ms. Ramirez isn't a mind reader, so somehow you had to have a conversation with her.
I brought it up with my girlfriend.
Brought it up with your girlfriend?
Yes, I talked about it with my girlfriend.
Hold on.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Tell me your name.
Brittany Gallardo.
I want you to tell me the first conversation you had with your boyfriend about these rims.
Yeah, we were just talking about
Just
both
the
of
two
our
of you?
cars. Yes, just both of our cars. I was talking about how I wanted rims on my car, and he was like, "Oh, maybe I should get new rims on mine." And then from there, that's when
No. Just the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you wanted new rims on your car. He said maybe I should get new rims on mine.
Mm-hmm.
There had to be more than that. You know, he's your boyfriend. You live together?
No.
What does that mean?
He stays over every once in a while.
Okay. I want you to tell me the conversation that you had with your boyfriend when she wasn't there initially about buying rims.
That was the first time we ever really had that conversation.
Okay, well, the first time you had the conversation,
Yeah.
the issue of money had to come up.
I told him I didn't have money for mine, and
You said I
that
don't
we
have-
had to work on getting the money for rims first.
So you said, I don't have money for rims for mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an answer. Yes, I'm sure
Yes,
you
ma'am.
mean yes, Ms. Gallardo. And he said he's got to work on getting the money for his?
Yes, ma'am.
Were those his words?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if it's my boyfriend, my next question would be, how are you going to do that? And what did he tell you?
He's looking for another job because he had just lost his job recently.
So he was going to look for another job.
Yes.
Did he talk to you about financing the rims?
No, ma'am.
He just said he was going to look for another job.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about when this was. Do you remember what month?
Middle of March, beginning of March, somewhere in there.
Okay. There came a time when the plaintiff was at your house.
Yes.
And you were home.
Yes, ma'am.
And your boyfriend was there.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you present when he started to talk about his lust for rims with the plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the conversation.
They were talking about rims. And
No,
so I
she
brought up
wasn't-
the
she-
conversation that we had. about him. And then she was like, oh, well, why don't you guys just get him? And I was like, well, I don't have the money right now, and he still has to find another job. So until that happens, you know, we can't really do much. And she was like, oh, well, you know, I could be your friend and I can help you guys finance, but the work that he does on my car should be free.
Careful what you say to me. Be really careful.
Yes.
You want to be helpful, but don't get ensnared in the web.
Okay.
Because I weave that.
Yes, ma'am.
So she was there. You started to talk about rims.
Yes, ma'am.
Financing them. She said, I could help you guys out by financing.
Yes.
And you had tried to finance.
No, Your Honor, I haven't tried.
Okay, so you hadn't gone to anyone else about financing.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so she said, I could help you guys out financing. And what did your boyfriend say?
No.
Sorry. Scalardo. Right here. Not him. You know, he may be permanent, he may be temporary, you never know. This tape is forever.
I know. I know.
Good. I mean, 10 years from now, you probably will have to look at pictures to remember what he looks like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is her boyfriend.
Her friend, Chris Martinez, refuses to pay back a loan for car rims.
Okay, she said, I think I could help you out financing. And?
They had their conversation. I went inside because I have kids. So I just went inside.
Oh, so you didn't hear?
I heard the conversation from the door because I just went to go check on the kids. But I said, I would rather you wait until we can do it on our own. And so their conversation came up because she had already gotten work done on her car. So, and she kind of already owed him.
There's no almost kind
well,
of...
she owed him money for the labor that he was doing on her car. And because of that, he was like, well, if you do that, we can just call it even. And
you heard that?
Yes, ma'am. And so she was like, so you're going to do my car for free? And he said, yeah, I'll work on your car for free, but you have to finance and pay for the rims. That day that they went to go get the rims, I guess, he had to put cash out of his own pocket to get the rims that day.
How much, sir?
I put $400 down.
You put down $400, but the rims were $1,200.
She got financed for $800. The rims, cash-wise, were $1,200 out the door cash. There were more because interest, so I put $400 down.
So she gave you $8.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that was sometime in March.
Yes, Your Honor.
Between March and May, what work did you do on her car?
Every time they needed something done on their car, they'd show up to my girlfriend's house late, around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, asking for work to get done. I've done oil changes on the car, their brakes, spark plugs.
I asked you a specific question. Between March, which is the time that she advanced $800 towards your rims, and May, what work did you do on her car?
Your Honor, it varies. I've done multiple stuff within that time period.
This is her boyfriend. Yes. He used to be your friend.
Yes, Your Honor.
He's not your friend anymore.
No, Your Honor.
You want to tell me why?
Because this whole situation, the way it turned out to be, he's just going off what she says. He's...
Well, you've been friends for 6 years. Did you have a discussion with him? Because there came a time when she wanted her money back. Because now she's got this loan that's built up interest, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so you had to have had a discussion with...
Nathan.
Nathan really's never talked to me about anything. It's always Skylar going through his phone on his Instagram, talking to me about it, or having other people call me.
May I say
Nathan? Nathan, did you ever have, after the exchange of this money and after your girlfriend took out this loan, did you ever have a conversation with Mr. Martinez?
I did not personally, no.
Did you have any email or text exchange with him?
On my account, yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a copy of that?
This was later on, like a month after the financing.
Well, this is in April. I assume that this is you saying, ain't trying to rush you, bro, but we need the money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have half of the 50?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he says, I don't, bro. I always have 3 kids to take care of. You have 3 kids?
I have 3, Your Honor.
Okay. You're good. I wasn't even trying to be like that. Don't take it the wrong way. I'm not, bro. I don't want you guys to think I'm blanking you all over. What does that mean?
I don't want them to feel like I'm screwing them over, Your Honor.
Screwing them over for what? For the money?
Yeah.
for the money. Well, that would indicate to me, Mr. Martinez, that you acknowledge that you owed him money. But you have 3 kids to take care of, and you didn't have the money.
The initial agreement when I got the rims was I work on their car. That was the initial agreement.
That's in March. You said that I would work on their cars. That's what you said.
Yes, Your Honor.
Initial agreement is that I would work on their cars. And so I specifically asked you, what work did you do on their cars from March until May? Which was actually a pretty reasonable question, because these texts were the end of April. And you said, I changed spark plugs, I changed the oil.
I've done brakes. I've installed aftermarket parts for them.
Just a second. When is my question? I just want to know what you did for them after she gave you the money. Were you supposed to sell this car, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sell it?
No, Your Honor.
Why not? It's not an answer.
Just people lowball me.
You have a Mitsubishi?
Yes, Your Honor.
2000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Where'd you get it from?
I traded one of my last vehicles for it.
You traded?
Yes.
What did you trade it for?
I had a 2013 Cadillac ATS, and I traded my homeboy with it, and he gave me cash on top as well.
When?
I want to say beginning of February.
Oh, so you didn't have this car very long, so it was
No,
your
Your Honor.
intention of flipping the car once you
Yes.
put rims on it.
Not even that. I was going to sell it with stock rims, too.
Then what'd you invest $400 of your own money and $800 of her money for?
I wasn't going to sell it, the vehicle with the rims on it. People that messaged me about it, I told them I'm selling it with stock wheels, because I'm not going to lose $400 out of my own pocket. So.
Does he take care of your cars?
He did change our brakes. He did.
On one car or 2 cars? One car.
One car, Your Honor.
You live together?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he changed the brakes. Do you remember when he did that?
March.
What else did he do?
He did a spark plugs a few days later, and then there was a leak in like our router or something like that in the brakes, and he changed that. But other than that, it was like small little things. He painted our rims. We helped him paint the rims together and stuff.
When you go over to where they live, he does it at his house?
No, he does it at Brittany's house, his girlfriend. We would text him, and I tell him that I get off late, and he said to just come through later on in the day whenever I'm off work. So it would be late, and I would let them know that, and they were okay with it until a time, and then they told me that's not okay, and I said that's fine. Like, I respect the boundaries.
What arrangements did you make to pay him?
Anytime he would do our thing for us, like the brakes, for instance, he told us that it'd be $50. And I told him that I'd cash app it to him, and I cash apped him $50.
So you paid him for the brakes?
Yes.
$50?
Yes.
And you can show me that?
I have it on my phone.
Did she pay you $50 for the brakes? She's going to show me that
For the
she
brakes,
did.
yes.
Spark plugs?
I've never received a payment for spark plugs.
Spark plugs?
No, he said that he would do the labor for it if we paid for the parts.
And how much were the parts?
Altogether, because we bought it with the brakes, it was like $156, somewhere around there and some change.
Okay, and you paid for the parts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, Mr. Martinez, I'd like you to give me some indication of how many hours it took you to change the spark plugs.
Roughly about 30 to 45 minutes.
30 minutes. And then you said there was a router.
Rotor.
Yeah, sorry.
And was that also around the same time in March?
Yeah, it was all around the same time. We were supposed to do it the same night, and then he exclaimed that it was getting late and if we can do it another night.
Okay, so far you've paid him $50. Did you pay him anything for the router?
No, he said he was going to do that because he noticed it was
did the break.
leaking.
So he did those things within a 48-hour period.
Around there or some.
And for that, you sent him $50.
Yes, ma'am.
Which you acknowledge you got.
Yes, Your Honor.
Those are the things that you said were done, right?
That, oil change.
Oh, just a second. When did you do an oil change?
I did the oil change the same day I did the spark plugs.
Okay, so it was all done within a 48-hour period. And after you did that work, and it took you an evening, and it got a little late, so you did some the next day, you charged her $50, which she sent you.
I charged her $50 for the brakes. I never got paid for doing the oil change.
Well, oil change is nothing. It's certainly not $800. But you know.
Skylar Ramirez is accusing her former friend, Chris Martinez, of owing her the balance of a car rims loan.
Do you understand what I'm talking about, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so now we're at a place where I've just eliminated most of your defense because you said you did work on her car so many hours, 50 hours or whatever it is, and you were never paid for it, so it was part of the agreement. So now I have you worked on the car according to you over a 24 or perhaps 48-hour period, but you have a full-time job, so you were doing it in the evening. And she didn't pick this $50 out of the air. You must have said, I'll do it all for you for $50.
No, Your Honor.
No?
No.
Okay. How much did you tell her it was going to be, sir?
I told her for spark plugs and oil change, that's $30 a piece. I'm helping.
Just a second. Spark plugs and oil change was $30, so that's $60. Okay? And the brakes?
Brakes, I charge them $50.
Be careful what you tell me, because, you know, you start to get dry mouth. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you charge a $50, $30 each for those two things and the brakes.
I just charged for labor. So when
And how much was that?
With that was $110.
You know, you're making that up as going along. What did you do with the $50 she sent you?
I kept that.
You kept it?
That was my pay.
You kept
for the
it?
brakes.
Pay for what? The brakes?
The brakes.
Right. So now, at most, she owes you $60. Is that my math correct, Mr. Mensah? At most, she owes you $60 because you said $30 for the spark plugs and $30 for the oil change. Where do you get $800?
I did their exhaust. I put a aftermarket wing on their car.
Just a second. When?
This was all in the span of maybe 2 weeks to a month before we stopped being friends.
Ms. Ramirez, now I want you to tell me about the conversations because I've been on that team for a while. Now I want you to tell me your version of how it came about that you took out this loan for $800.
So the conversation was at Brittany's house, and the three of us were there. We communicated that he didn't have enough credit, and he asked if I would finance for him because Brittany would not. So I explained.
Why wouldn't you, Brittany? You couldn't or you wouldn't?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Smart girl.
I know. I don't know.
Smart girl. You're thinking about that photograph, right?
Sure am.
So?
Yeah. And
he said Brittany would not, and?
Brittany would not, and so he asked if I would do it for him, and I said, well, yes, of course. Like, we're friends. I will help you out, but we have to make an agreement because I want to make sure that I'm not losing any money out of pocket because I'm just doing this to help a friend. And he said yes. We went to the place on March 29th. We went to the Rims place, and they told us the papers right here of how much it would be together, $1,800. The payments are $71.40 every other week. And he said that he would pay me every other week so nothing had to come out of my pocket. We never made an agreement of he would do the car, whatever.
I'm not talking about the car.
But I had no idea that he paid any money out of pocket. On the lease, it says nothing about him paying any cash money whatsoever, and that's why the total is so high. And
do you have any communications with him other than what Nate has shown me about the loan?
This is the cash app that he sent $50 and then called me and asked if he can have 20 back for gas. And so, as you can see, it was in a period of time.
Mr. Martinez, what did you send her $50 for?
That was towards the rims because I was getting harassed every day about it.
Just a second. So this was payment, a $50 payment for the rims, but then you asked for cash money back.
I never asked for money back.
So you paid her $50 towards the rims, and you did that beginning of April.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then I see another payment.
No, that was the 20 that I
she
sent
gave
back,
you back.
that he called to ask for some back.
Did you ever borrow money from him?
No, Your Honor.
Because it says, I'm confronting you on a big boy issue.
Yes.
We always paid you back.
I'm talking about the parts where he did like the spark plugs and the brakes and all that. He said that I never paid him, but he knows that I did pay them for that.
So that's what you were talking about?
Yes, that's what I was talking about.
We always paid you back. How much do you owe the finance company now?
Today, if I were to make the purchase, it would be $892.15. But that's already after I made payments already.
And how much did you make in payments that you can prove to me? Ms. Gallardo, how long have you known him?
Way too long. I want to say 13, 14 years now.
You live together?
No.
Is he the father of these children?
No.
Do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a masseuse.
You support your kids?
Yes, ma'am.
What about him? Does he support his?
Yes, as much as he can.
Well, you know, you have to eat regularly.
Right. He does, mechanical work and stuff. He goes and spends time with his kids.
But, if you have 3 kids and you don't work all the time or work at a not high-paying job,
right?
Doesn't it sound moronic to spend $1,200 on rims for a car?
Yes, ma'am.
Sounds like something a 10-year-old would do, you know, not somebody who was a responsible parent, because you have kids.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you said, I'd love to put rims on my car, you said, I can't afford it.
Yeah, I can't afford it right now.
Ta-da! How much did you make in payments?
Altogether, I made $416 in payments. I had some late
So you
fees.
paid so far $1,316. Is that correct, Lexi?
$890 and $416.
Yeah.
I have $1,306.
Yeah, $1,306 is what you paid so far. The $890 would clear the debt?
Yes, it would make it your own.
Now, $1,306. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. Remember that picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Case is now closed. Court is adjourned.
She was just being immature about it.
I think she made the right decision.
I'm a parent of 3, and I'd rather not put myself in a hole that I can't get myself out of.
Yeah, I really wanted it to work out, but I feel like it was just immaturity that made it go like that.
Stick to the agreement that we had, which was working on the car.
Every time he done work on our car, we always paid him.
Friends come and go.
The world works in mysterious ways, and I think he just likes it that way.
So, Alexi, let me tell you my takeaway from this case, which has nothing to do with the law. It has to do with Miss Gallardo, who I found absolutely charming. I actually found the plaintiff and her boyfriend also honest and charming. The defendant, on the other hand, is a hustler. And it's interesting that Miss Gallardo knows he's a hustler, because that lady smiled when I say, remember the picture. 10 years, you won't remember him because he has 3 kids, takes care of them, she says, as best he can. Well, you can't take care of them as best you can if you don't have a job. And then not to have a job and to want $1,200 rims for your car. She knew it was ridiculous.
Are you a victim?
Case number 3075, Drake versus Wayne's Corner. All parties, please step forward.
Derek Drake is suing his former girlfriend, Rosvita Waynes Kerner, for an unpaid car loan.
Mr. Drake.
Yes, ma'am.
Is your claim that the defendant owes you $1,000 for the down payment that you gave her for a car?
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says she owes you nothing. It was your idea because you wanted better access to her. Ms. Kerner says that you owe her the same $1,000 because you destroyed or threw away some dresses that she had purchased for your sisters and gave you the dresses to hold until you saw your sisters and you disposed of them. She wants the value or what you paid for them. Mr. Drake, I found some of the papers interesting. How do you know Miss Kerner?
Well, we used to live in the same apartment complex. About 6 months ago, she moved out of the complex.
When she lived in the complex, did you have a relationship with her?
No, we were just friends.
Okay, who did you live with, sir?
I lived by myself.
And who did Miss Kerner live with?
She lived by herself.
And then she moved away?
Yes.
And you continued to see her?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, we became good friends, and when she moved away, we just carried on our friendship. She would come by and see me. I would go by and see her.
It wasn't a romantic relationship?
No.
Not romantic?
No.
Not intimate, just friends?
Just friends.
Okay. Tell me about the car loan.
Well, she came by my apartment one day, and she had an electric bike, and the bike, she said it was no good anymore. I said, well, would you like some more transportation? And she said, yes. I said, I can loan you $1,000 to buy you a vehicle if you pay me back. And she says, okay, I could take that loan. And I said, can you pay me back within 6 months because I was going to drunk driving school? I said, I'm going to graduate from drunk driving school in 6 months, so I need the money because I need to buy me a car.
You said I can loan you $1,000. Did you go with Miss Kerner to find a car?
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you get there?
One of her friends drove us. It was at a tow yard. It wasn't in the city of San Jose. It was right outside the city.
And did you have check or cash?
I had cash.
And you acknowledged that he put down $1,000 for the car?
Put down? Well,
I didn't say loan,
okay.
Miss Kerner. I said you acknowledged that he put down $1,000 for the car.
He was there. Yes.
How much? No, not he was there. He put down $1,000 for the car. Okay. And you paid a total of $1,700 for the car?
It probably totaled up after paying for the registration and stuff. Okay, because it was $1,250, and then he said that he was going to pay for the car. and stuff, you know, for the gas, because I didn't want a car. You know, I was content with my bike, you know, but he insists. So that's where the 7 comes in, because he wants me to pay back for the registration, the car.
How much did you pay?
Nothing.
So he paid the whole thing?
Yeah, he wanted it, yeah.
He only says he loaned you $1,000.
No. Well, if that's what he's saying, that's what he's saying, okay? But it came up to $1,250. And then the 17, it totals out, I guess, out for 17, I don't know how, but it totals out for the registration. So that's probably where it comes for $1,700.
How much did you put down on the car?
$1,000.
Well, where'd you get the other money from?
I don't know.
Well, you say in your complaint that she purchased the car, she found the car for $1,700. So I'm asking you, if you gave her $1,000, did she come up with $700?
I guess so.
Oh, my God. I'm getting very, very confused. All right. Now, Miss Kerner, Mr. Drake says that you were friends.
Mm-hmm.
You describe him in your answer as a Sancho.
A Sancho.
Sancho, what is that?
That's your, I guess people call it friends with benefits nowadays.
Friends with benefits?
Mm-hmm.
So are you suggesting that he had benefits?
Oh, yeah.
And is that why you used to bike ride to his house?
Yeah.
Shh. Clearly it was forgettable for him. Do you still have the car?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
What do you use it for?
For, like to go to the grocery store. I don't drive very much. So to go to the grocery store or to go and see my kids or take the dogs to the park. You know, I don't work. So.
Now, you have a sister? You have some sisters?
I have 4 sisters, Your Honor.
Did you invite Miss Kerner to travel at some point to your sisters for a party?
Well, we went down to Atlanta, Georgia in April, on April 28th, because my sister was her retirement party. And we was also going to go to Flint, Michigan on July 21st for my sister's birthday.
Okay. Did there come a time when Miss Kerner delivered some dresses to you for your sisters?
Yes, she delivered some dresses to me so we can take to Flint, Michigan on July 31st. But I was upset with her because she never even made me one payment. So I put them in the hallway, and I guess somebody took them. I did not throw them away or destroy them.
Well, you got rid of them if you put them in the hallway, sir.
Derek Drake claims his former girlfriend, Rosevita Waynes Kerner, owes for an unpaid car loan. Rosevita is countersuing Derek for the cost of designer dresses.
Where did you get the dresses from?
I got them from my mom. They were willed to me because she had passed.
So they were used dresses?
No, they weren't used dresses.
But you didn't buy them?
No, but they weren't used. My mom was a shopaholic, and so she left me these wonderful dresses, but they were for taller women. His sisters were tall. I'm not going to send no junky, trashy dresses to, impress his family with, And so they're all name brand, nice dresses, really pretty. Ask him, he's seen them all,
They were beautiful.
I'm not going to send nothing tacky. And so I asked him for the dresses back when he copped his attitude. And he told me he put them out in the hall.
He copped an attitude about what?
About the car.
What about the car?
Okay, let me tell you what happened, okay? I have this fatal attraction person that's like all up in my grill. I want nothing to do with him. So he got a hold of his phone number, called him, told him I was driving all these men around town, and he copped the attitude about me driving, and which I was not, because I don't like to drive. I'm 61 years old. Why am I going to drive some dudes around town for? They're going to drive me around town and take me to go eat. So he copped the attitude, and then I found out I'm getting paper in the mail about I'm being sued. Okay, and then I asked him 4 days later, I says, because I waited, maybe he's going to call or something. And he didn't. And then I asked him about the dresses. And that's when he told me he put them out. I says, why you put those dresses out? Why didn't you just call me? And he just, I don't have to call you, blah, 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 blah. Well, so I just turned around and walked away.
Tell me about the car.
Okay.
He told me his version about the car.
Okay. So the car, he kept on telling me, Rose, let me buy you a car. Let me get you a car. I'm going to get you a car. I'm going to get you a car. No, I'm cool. I don't want the car. I'm happy with my bike because I don't drive.
Okay. After you bought the car, did you drive in the car to go to any vacations with his family?
No, because his family's not here. But we did drive to the airport. That's what the main thing was, just to go to the airport, get us there, and then when we get back, the car was there, so we can drive back home.
Where did you go? From what to the airport? When you went to the airport, where did you travel to?
To the airport.
And then where did you go?
To Atlanta.
From where?
From San Jose.
Who purchased the tickets?
He did.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
How come you bought tickets to take her anywhere? She was just because she was a friend?
Because she was a very good friend.
How much is a very good friend?
Well, I wanted her to meet my sisters down in Atlanta, Georgia, because she was retiring. And I just wanted her to meet them.
Why?
Why?
Yeah, if she was just a friend. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, she was a close friend.
How close?
Very close. And I just wanted her to meet my family.
Okay, she was a very close friend.
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay. You see, he's more chivalrous than you are.
Oh, okay.
He's more chivalrous than you are. Anything else either one of you want to tell me? Did you get angry, by the way? You saw something that was written somewhere that she was driving with men in the car. Who told you that?
I guess one of her friends called me up and told me all this. But
Don't tell me you guess.
I got upset because she wasn't paying back the loan.
Nah, I don't think so. How much were the tickets from California to
They were
Atlanta?
$1,600.
That's very expensive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
$1,600 for both?
Yes.
And when you got there, where did you stay?
We stayed at my sister's house in Atlanta.
The next trip that you were supposed to take, did you have to fly there for the retirement
yes,
party?
we was gonna go to Flint, Michigan on July 21st for my sister's birthday.
How were you going to get there?
We was gonna fly.
And you were going to buy the tickets?
Yes.
Sounds like a very good friend.
Very good, yes. But we never took that trip.
I understand. Did you drive anywhere else with Miss Kerner in the car?
No.
Did she take you to work?
No.
Did she take you anyplace else? Did you go out for dinner?
No.
She just drove back and forth to your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when she drove back and forth to your house, did she ever stay over?
No.
She came at what time, and what time did she leave when she would come to visit?
She would come at around 1 o'clock in the morning. She would leave about 2 or 3.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Drake, I know that you were probably annoyed that you heard from her friend that she was using this car that you purchased for her, and she was taking other people around in the car. So I know that was probably an annoyance for you, but that doesn't create a loan. I don't believe it was a loan, Mr. Drake. I think she's more accurate, and you learn something new every day. Sancho. Yeah. Okay, which I believe is probably accurate. And you have no value on these dresses. There is no...
Yes, I pulled them up online, okay? And what they look like, you know, and...
And you gave them away. You gave them to him.
Well, yeah, to his, you know, to give to his sisters, not to throw away.
You're not getting any money from him.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
You got a car out of it, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day.
It's just a point, Judge, that's all.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I know I didn't win and she didn't win, but life goes on. You know, life is good. It's just another day.
Well, it's all good with me. I mean, hell, I got a free car out of it.
How she was driving other guys around in the car that I bought, that I paid for.
Hell no.
But I found out later on that they were just making that up.
Because he had said, when I would go see him, he had said, you know, oh, you driving all kinds of men in the car?
I asked her and she said no, and I found out that she was telling the truth.
I'm all like, dude, why am I gonna be driving dudes around in my car?
I guess you could say that I am her Sancho.
No Sancho for me, no more. I'm good.
You know, when you asked him what time his friend came to visit him once she upgraded from the electric bike to the car, I had my pencil ready. I was ready to write, you know, after work or maybe before if she was going to take him. You know, the normal hours, 1 to 2 in the morning. But, you know, you learn something new every day.
I certainly did. I learned what a Sancho was.
Okay, yeah.
Sean Spencer is suing his friend, Sierra Coya, for engine damage after Sierra drove his sports car without permission.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3099, Spencer versus Koya.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Spencer, how old are you?
19.
Who is this?
This is the person who evaluated my car, the mechanic.
How old are you?
I'm 18, Your Honor.
This is your claim, Mr. Spencer. Your claim is that the defendant took your car without your permission and for sort of a little test drive or a joyride, and she blew the engine on the car. That's your claim. Correct. The defendant says it's absolutely not true. She didn't do anything to the car. She does acknowledge that she took it for a test drive. She said, I did nothing to the car. The car was perfectly fine when I brought it back.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so tell me on what date you were hanging out and your car was taken by the defendant.
It was September 28th, Your Honor.
What kind of car is it?
It's a 2013 Scion FRS, two-seater sports car.
So the car is 11 years old?
Correct.
How long have you had it?
I've had it since May 25th.
Of this year?
Correct. Or, yeah, 2023.
Who'd you buy it from?
I bought it from a neighbor.
How many miles does it have on it now?
It has 140,000 miles.
How much did you pay for the car?
I paid 12 grand.
You paid $12,000 for a car that had 140,000 miles on it?
Correct. It's a sports car.
Okay. Where'd you get the $12,000 from?
Some of it's through a loan through my mother, and the rest was in cash.
Where'd you get the cash from?
Jobs or...
So you saved up?
Correct.
Okay. So tell me what happened in September.
So it's September 28th. We were all hanging out for a couple of hours.
Where?
This is up in Palmdale, just off 49th Street, at a friend.
Where were you? At a friend?
Yeah. It was one of the friends that we were hanging out with.
Okay, how many people were there?
5 of them, me make 6, so 6 total. My girlfriend's birthday was the following day, so we were gonna hang out throughout the night up until midnight.
What time had you gotten to your friend's house?
Roughly like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Dinner
What time did you get there?
I got around 3 p.m.
Okay, now tell me what happened with the car.
We were all hanging out in her room at the place in Palmdale. My keys...
Your friend's room?
Yes, correct. My keys as well as wallet and phone were all on a desk. We're gonna head down to Canyon Country, Santa Clarita, and just before leaving, the defendant had punched me in my stomach and kicked me, ran off, stole the keys, and then...
Out of nowhere, she came and she punched you in the stomach and kicked you where?
Like, just somewhere like in the side. I was on a bed, and then she had hit me, and I turned over, and she had kicked me, and then ran off.
You mean from nothing? You didn't have any incident with her?
No, not at all.
So
she's rather physical and has been in previous... We've hung
physical
out before.
how?
Just punching, hitting, pinching.
You're talking about playfully?
Not
because otherwise you wouldn't hang out with her.
I don't necessarily like to, but it's a friend group that everyone else I enjoy being around. So I kind of just sort of deal with it, if you will.
So now she's punched you in the side and kicked you.
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
She then proceeded to take my keys and run out of the house. By this time, 3 others were out of the bedroom and starting to get out of the house.
Just a second. So you were alone with her on the bed?
So we were all getting ready to leave. 3 people had already left the room. What was left in the room was me, my girlfriend, and the defendant.
Mm-hmm.
Then...
And where were you all?
I was on the bed, and my girlfriend was on the bed. She was standing just in front.
And?
And then she proceeded to hit me, kick me.
So what you're telling me is she leaned over, she punched you, and then got her foot up and kicked you someplace.
Yeah.
Got her foot up over the bed and kicked you.
It was like hip level.
I think I believe that. I don't. And then she took your keys and ran out of the house.
Correct. She ran out of the house.
Okay. Now, tell me how you got the keys to the car.
He had them laying on the desk. We were all just messing around. I didn't hit him or kick him.
Would you just tell me? Don't tell me what you didn't do. Tell me what you did.
I grabbed his keys and I went out of the house.
So when you say you grabbed his keys and went out of the house, you took the car without permission?
Yes, I did.
Why?
It's like it was a sports car, so it was like I wanted like an experience of like driving it. It was supposed to be as a joke. I didn't mean it in a harmful way.
I don't think you meant it in a harmful way. But you took his car without permission.
Yes, and I apologized for it, and he said it was okay and forgave me.
When did you apologize?
Directly after I took his keys and took the car.
When you brought it back?
Yes.
Okay, so you didn't apologize before you took it. You took it and it was about what time?
9 p.m.
Okay, 9 p.m. And you've been hanging around for a while. So you've been hanging around since 3, so you were there between 5 and 6 hours.
Yes.
Anybody doing any drinking?
No.
Anybody doing any smoking?
Nicotine, yes.
Okay, but nothing other than that?
No.
Okay, so now it's 6 hours later, and you took the car. Where did you go with the car?
Up and down the street. I did not leave the neighborhood. I was out for maybe less than 2 minutes.
Did you hit anything when you traveled?
No, not at all.
Okay, and when you came back, he must have been annoyed.
Yes, he was.
Okay, so he's waiting for you outside.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Spencer, she took your keys. She acknowledges she took your keys without your permission. You went following outside after her, I assume.
By the time I was making it outside, she had started the car and started to back out.
Okay, so you were there, just a second, so you were there when she backed out of the driveway.
I was there as she had stopped getting out of the driveway and she was going forward.
She was in the process of taking your car, not returning it.
Correct.
In effect, she stole the keys to your car and your car.
Correct.
Okay, so now you're standing out in front of the house, in front of your friend's house, waiting for her to come back.
Correct.
How long were you standing there waiting for her to come back?
It was roughly...
Careful.
3 minutes.
3 minutes?
Correct.
So she didn't go very far.
No.
Now, did you see the car? It's not an answer.
Sorry.
You saw her pull away with the car.
For the first 200 feet, until she turned onto a new street.
200 feet you saw. And then you saw 200 feet when she was coming back, because she was out for 3 minutes. So you just stood there. So she didn't go, maybe she went around the block once.
Right.
Okay. And then she brought the car back. And what did she say when she got out of the car? She says she apologized to you.
Yeah, I was infuriated with the fact that she had taken the car because it wasn't the first time she had tried to do this. This was just the final time that she finally went through with it. And then when she had come, she had said, like, I'm sorry, this and that, because she could tell I was really mad. And at the time, I was just like, it's okay, because the next day was my girlfriend's birthday. I was trying to not keep the mood down and really just mellow, if you will.
Now, you said you were going to hang out someplace that day. Where were you going to hang out?
We didn't have any specific plans.
9 o'clock at night. Where did you go?
After that, we ended up driving down to Canyon Country.
Okay.
But my car
Just a second. You drove down to Canyon Country.
My car did not make it.
Sean Spencer claims his friend, Sierra Coya, owes for engine damage after she drove his sports car without permission.
Okay. You got into your car with your girlfriend.
Correct.
And how far did you get?
A couple miles.
So you drove it a few miles?
Yeah, probably about 4.
Now, how long did it take you to drive the car these 4 miles? Did it take you 10 minutes?
I would say more like 5 to 6.
6 minutes and 4 miles. That's going pretty fast.
Correct.
How fast were you going?
I think it's 55 there. I was going 55.
Okay. So let's say you were doing 55 miles an hour. And then what happened?
That whole 6-minute drive, I could not get much power out of it. It wasn't working.
You were
right.
traveling 55 miles an hour. That's power.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it wouldn't get there as quickly. It was having noticeable issues. There were sounds. I have a video of the sounds as well that was taken after that 6-minute drive. And it had started the second I got in the car and got worse and worse. That's why I pulled over, took the video, had all of that.
Okay.
And I had to get it towed.
And did you have it towed to his shop?
I took it to one shop first. It was a friend of my mother's. He gave us a quote for $7,200, and that was not in our budget. So then I ended up taking it to him.
Okay, and where did you find him?
This is my uncle, who also works for LAPD.
It's what?
He's my uncle.
He's your uncle?
Correct.
Stand up, sir. Is he your mother's brother?
No.
He's your father's brother?
Correct.
Okay. You have a shop, sir, or do you do this as a sideline?
I was a mechanic for 20 years, and now I'm...
That's not what I asked you. I asked you whether you have a shop, or is this a sideline?
Sure, I run a shop.
What kind of a shop?
The LAPD Central Division Police.
And what do you do for them?
I'm an automotive supervisor, so I supervise all the mechanics in charge of 1,300.
And did you, in fact, fix it?
I didn't do it personally. I diagnosed it and had one of my guys repair it. I didn't have the time to fix it.
You had one of the guys from LAPD do it?
Yes.
Where did he do it?
At his house.
How long did he have the car at his house?
About 2 weeks.
Did he present you a bill, or did he present your nephew with a bill?
Well, we bought the engine from an importer, and so the bill, I just had him buy the engine from them, and then we just paid him.
Just a second. So you bought the engine secondhand?
Yes.
And how much did you pay for the engine?
45, 20, 25 cents.
And how much did you pay to put the engine in?
$700. 500 of that was for the labor.
Okay. Now, you heard, so you have a certain amount of expertise, I assume?
Yes.
Based upon what you told me. What was wrong with the engine?
It had a piston that had contacted a cylinder head and bent the valve, so it had low compression in one cylinder.
How does that happen?
Over-revving the engine.
Over-revving?
To put it in a drastic measure, if you're on the freeway going 70 and you're in 5th gear and you stick it in 3rd gear, what's going to happen? Your RPMs shoot up and the engine has too many RPMs and it's not made to have that many RPMs. That's why there's a red line on your tachometer. You're not supposed to go over that. The mechanics can't function that and it over-revs and it makes contact with each other.
When that happens to the engine, does the engine seize?
Well, it bent a valve, and so the valve just stays at the bad angle to where it can't seal the combustion chamber in the cylinder, and so that's one of the 4 cylinders doesn't make full power anymore.
But it has power.
You can drive it. It's still drivable, yes.
And it could go 4 miles.
You could probably drive it across the country, but yeah, you get poor gas mileage, check engine light would be on, and you'd have it'd be noisy.
Because it ultimately stopped, because your nephew drove the car about 4 miles at 55 miles an hour.
When I saw it, the car was still running, just making a horrible noise, and I don't know if it stopped on him or if he stopped it because of the noise.
Did you stop it because of the noise?
Yeah, I started to stop, and then as I was slowing down, I probably hit maybe 2 miles an hour, and as soon as all the lights came on the dash, and then it seized for the next 10 feet.
Okay. And Mr. Spencer, prior to the 28th of September, had you had any mechanical difficulty with the car?
Never.
You had never taken it to a mechanic or anything else?
No.
Okay.
It had no reason.
So the evening of this event was the first time you had heard this kind of a noise in the car?
Correct.
Didn't hear it when you got to your friend's house? Okay. Koya, is that how you pronounce your name? Miss Koya. So let me tell you this. This is the decision that I have to make. You can have a seat, sir. Thank you for your assistance. It is very hard, almost impossible, to say for certain that you caused damage to his car. I don't have to find that as a certainty that you caused damage to his car. I can look at circumstantial evidence. Now, if he had given you permission to take his car and you drove it, and 4 miles down the road when he's in the car starts to act up, I would have said, you know what? I really can't tell whose fault it was. He's traveling 55 miles an hour. You took the car because you've been hankering to take that car and have a test drive for a while, according to him, which I believe, because you stole the keys and stole the car. That's what you actually did. So it's a very easy decision for me.
Yes, but they did go to Ventura. They did drive that night to Ventura, and he was speeding that way. And
how do you know?
Because the way he drives. There's videos of how he drives.
Your problem is you stole his car.
Yeah, and he admitted into text that he was low on oil and the engine seized because he had no oil in it.
May I see the text that she's talking about? Who's?
A friend that was there with the group.
Well, you explained to what happened with the car. Now you can stand up, sir. You understand what I was telling her, that if I couldn't make a determination as to what caused this problem with the car, the fact that she took the car without permission makes my life easy. You would agree with that?
Yes.
But you would agree with the fact that if there was some other basis for the car to have malfunctioned, it wouldn't be her fault.
Yeah.
Could the car malfunction as a result of being low on oil?
There's millions of reasons a car could malfunction, yeah.
Was that, well, I'm not talking about millions. Yeah. I'm talking the problem with the engine.
A lack of oil can't make the piston hit the valve, no.
Well, so let me read you what he said to his friend.
I had sent that text after the first mechanic had looked at it.
First you're right, every cop knows me now, so when they pull me over, they only give me speeding tickets of 60 miles an hour. What happened? So it was low on oil and the engine seized up. Ruined just about everything. It's beyond repair. In order to fix it, it needs a new engine and then the labor and parts put in it, which is about $8,000 from what I've heard. Scrap yards only offer about $1,000 for the car. And he says, damn, I'm sorry. Does that sound familiar to you?
Sort of, yes.
Yeah. Do you know that
Sean Spencer has accused his friend, Sierra Koya, of driving his sports car without permission and damaging the engine. Sierra claims Sean drives recklessly and damaged his own engine.
Why would you drive a car that was low on oil?
The first mechanic that had it looked at, that's what he said. But I drained the oil.
So it was low on oil and the engine seized up. That's what the first mechanic told you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be her fault.
Correct.
Right?
However, it wasn't in need of any oil, and I check it on the first of every month.
Okay.
I had it serviced. Well, this was 4 months.
Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying to you. You have any other texts for me to look at?
Yes, I have these two, and then the videos of him speeding.
He speeds, but I'll look at the video anyway because I like to look at pictures.
And then I also have
I don't know what this has to do with anything.
that they were speeding on the way there.
Oh, so the drive from Starbucks to Chick-fil-A. You went to Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are other.
Yeah. Was supposed to be like 45 minutes. This is on September 15th. You following this, sir?
Yeah.
So the drive from Starbucks to Chick-fil-A was supposed to be like 45 minutes. We did it in 15.
It's impossible, but okay.
It's just him talking.
Yeah.
Cool. 109 miles for me the entire way.
That's my buddy's truck. We all rode in his truck, so that's him speeding. That's not me.
You rode in his truck?
Correct.
Just a minute. So when this is every cop knows me now.
That was me. That was in my
Yeah,
car.
every cop knows me now. So when they pull me over, they only give me speeding tickets for 60.
It was a joke because I'd gotten a speeding ticket, my first one, a couple weeks before. I got it at 2 in the morning after a closing shift for 60 and a 45.
Now I'm going to take a look at the video. How did you get this video?
He sent it to the group chat.
He sent it to the group chat?
Yes.
What an idiot.
And there's multiple videos.
What an idiot.
It seems like they're all going about 50 miles an hour, and it says 93. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't speed or anything, but they all have their brake lights on. Semi-trucks can't go 93. He's going the same speed, so I don't know where that speed mile an hour is coming from.
He sent it on a group chat about his own car.
But common sense would say that truck isn't going 103 miles an hour.
What truck?
The semi-truck on the right of him that's going the same speed as him.
Are you making an excuse for that?
You can look at the video. If you think that's accurate, then that's fine, but...
I'm just looking at
how
he's going, weaving in between cars. You think that that's reasonable?
No.
Do you know that when I am on a parkway and I see a moron like that weaving in between cars, all I say is, I hope they kill themselves alone and don't take anybody else with them. He shouldn't have a car. He shouldn't be driving a car. You shouldn't be stealing the keys to a car. So it's going to cost you $7,000 or $6,000 to fix the car?
Yeah, that's what I paid.
She's going to pay $1,000 for stealing it. You're going to pay the rest. Got it?
Got it.
Perfect. That's what happens. Because unfortunately, morons like you usually don't go alone. They usually take a family of 4 with them. So this one's going to cost you. You understand?
Yeah, I don't care.
You don't mind that, do you? Perfect.
Yeah.
Judging for the plaintiff costs you $1,000 to take a joyride. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
I think it's unfair. She stole the car and broke it.
It was a good decision. I did apologize, and I accept I did what I did was wrong.
When the car broke down, the dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree. The sounds were loud and clanky.
He even drove to Ventura for 2 hours after that and was speeding the whole way there.
There's only the one video of me speeding, and it's inaccurate.
Like, I didn't think of it as stealing. I thought it was like a joke. I didn't really mean to like steal it or anything.
It's good, running, no problems, nothing. The mechanics did a great job fixing it.
Well, I'm obviously not going to do it again.
Keep it under 50.
I thought it was ridiculous. It was funny to me.
Do you know how furious I get, Sarah, when I'm driving on a parkway? And I don't drive myself on a parkway anymore. I just don't have the...
reaction time.
That's bad. I don't have the reaction times that I did, and I feel a little tenuous. I like to drive in local streets where I know where I'm going. But when I'm on a parkway and I see these cars weaving in and out, speed limit is 55, so you're going 75 or you're going 80. But you're weaving in and out, and you're coming up on cars, they don't know that you're there.
I know that you hate that. I know that you do.
Because, you know, when you...
It tenses everybody else up.
When you pick up a newspaper and you see what can happen? Car can flip over if you're going too fast. Somebody could be fixing a tire on the side of the road. And I really just pray that if something happens, they go alone.
I know.
So this kid is bound for trouble. Yeah. The police pull me over now, and they only give me a speeding ticket for 60. Well, that means he's been pulled over for speeding numerous times because the police know who he is. I say to myself, I've been driving a very long time. And I'm not saying I've never speeded. 10 miles, maybe 8 miles over the speed limit. But I've never been stopped for speeding. Here's a kid who the police know by his first name.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway.
Well, he slows down.
Case 3093, Scott versus Scott. All parties, please come forward.
Tanisha Scott is suing her niece, Sierra Scott, for travel costs from Sierra's negligence.
Miss Scott, this is your niece. Is she your sister's daughter or your brother's daughter?
My sister's daughter.
How old are you?
47.
How old is she?
27 now.
So this is what the case is about. The family was planning a trip to Disney in Florida.
Yes.
How many people were going?
7 people, not including the children.
7 adults?
Yes.
Tell me who they were.
My mother, my mom's friend, my aunt, my husband, and myself.
And did you invite your aunt to go with you?
Yes.
When was it that you invited your aunt?
When she was included in the planning, in the original planning.
Which started when?
April 2022.
Okay, so this is what the case is about. You were supposed to find the least expensive flights for a few people.
Yes.
Not everybody, I assume.
Just my aunt and my mom.
This aunt?
Yes.
And your mom. And you did, in fact, do some investigation. And when you thought you found the right fare, there was a 3-way call to the airline.
Yes.
You were on the call?
Yes.
You were on the call?
Yes.
And the airline was on the call?
Yes.
And you purchased tickets to go? And you purchased tickets on what date?
I purchased the tickets.
You all purchased the tickets because she used her credit card?
Yes.
Go ahead. What date?
Can I check my evidence?
Absolutely.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, it doesn't tell me the purchase date.
Okay. On what date were you on this 3-way call and the tickets purchased?
If I'm not mistaken, I think it was like December 3rd of 22.
And this is what happened. After the tickets were purchased, you were on, you spoke to the airline, you gave them your credit card number.
Yes.
And they told you how much your fare was going to be. It was just you who
And my son.
You and
son.
You and your son. So you purchased 2 tickets.
Yes.
Purchased 2 tickets. And when you purchase tickets on an airline, if I'm not mistaken, the attendant who is helping you gives you the date that you're going, your confirmation number. I don't know whether they assign you your seats, tells you certainly from where to where you're going. All of those things are confirmed on the phone.
Yes.
That's what happens when you call the airline.
Yes.
And you heard where you were going. You're 47 years old. And the airline tickets that you purchased were going to Fort Lauderdale instead of Orlando. What?
That's where she said we were going. I didn't know. It was for her son's birthday. She told me that we going to Fort Lauderdale. That's why the tickets was purchased to Fort Lauderdale.
You were taking your son to Disney, correct?
Yes.
Disney is in Orlando.
Orlando.
So if your niece, who's 27, says we're going to Fort Lauderdale to Disney, what you say is Disney is not in Fort Lauderdale. Disney is in Orlando. That's what this case is about. You were on the phone, you purchased the tickets, then your niece said to you, we really have to fly into Orlando. There's a change fee. And this is what the change fee is to change the tickets from Fort Lauderdale to Orlando. You said, ultimately, you pay the difference. I'm not paying it. It was your mistake. That's what happened.
Yes.
That's why we're here. You didn't go. And you're suing for what you spent on the airline tickets and your contribution to the Airbnb.
Yes, and
that's not happening.
Okay.
If the reason you decided not to go is because you didn't want to pay the change fee, well, that was your fault. You listened. I mean, I don't think that there's a person around who thinks that Disney in Florida is in Fort Lauderdale. It's in Orlando. She may have gotten confused, but you shouldn't have been confused. You were taking a teenager to Disney, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you have no case, Miss Scott. The fact that you invested in tickets and you didn't want to pay the change fee, you wanted her to pay for you, that's unreasonable.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Good. Case is
Nice to meet
dismissed.
you,
We're
Your
done.
Honor.
Thank
This
you.
court is adjourned.
I feel like my niece was responsible for those tickets. Granted that, I mean, she said we was going to Fort Lauderdale. I didn't book, it was for your son's birthday party, so.
See, that was a mistake. I didn't know. I've never been to Florida, or I've never been to Disney World before.
The judge said it was my fault, so it is what it is. I just take the loss, and now I know not to just deal with nobody else and book my own tickets.
There's nothing I can do. There's no money I can return. It was all out of my hands, so I'm glad that she has the satisfaction to know that she can get nothing from me.
That would just move on, and the kids just, you know, be okay by it.
The most surprising thing about that whole case was that people still call to make plane reservations. I can't remember the last time I called to make a plane reservation. You sit on hold forever. I just do it online.
Do most people do it online? I know, I haven't made a plane reservation in a very long time.
Yeah, I would assume so. Make it online. Maybe it diminishes the problems like this, like we see here when you book to the wrong place. But hey, for everyone out there, Disney World is in Orlando.
That's
Shanice Eckstein is suing her mother, Jessica Lornson, for stolen money and assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Case 3112, Eckstein versus Lawrenson.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Miss Eckstein, the defendant is your mom.
Yes.
And there are several parts of your complaint, but the primary part of your complaint is that your mother took money that she had been saving for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And refused to give it to you when you left her home.
Yes.
And mother says that you owed her that money she doesn't deny that she saved money for you, it was your money, but that she says that you didn't contribute as you should have to the household when you were living there, and she has a counterclaim, and that counterclaim is that while you were living there, your cats caused some damage to her sofa.
Yes, correct.
By the way, if you take a look at each other, it's so funny for a stranger to you, look at you, and you can look at your mom and see what you're going to look like in a while. I'm looking at your face. You don't see it.
No, ma'am, and I don't want to.
Well, I'm just telling you from a stranger's perspective, sometimes my children don't see the same thing that I do, and I don't see it all the time. But I looked at the two of you, and it's...
We've gotten it a lot. It happens. It sure does.
Does it?
It does. It has.
It does? And your mom probably likes it when somebody says, oh, is that your sister?
She probably does.
She probably does. Okay, so right now, you and your mom are on the outs. That may be forever. It may not be forever. Certainly, from what I read of your complaint, when you hit a bad spot in your life, you went back to your mom.
That's false. This was the only time that I'd actually done that.
When you hit a bad spot, I just said one spot.
Yes, ma'am.
When you hit a bad spot in your life, you went home to your mom.
Yes.
And she let you come home.
Yes.
First, tell me a little about yourself, Miss Eckstein. How old are you?
I'm 26. I am a branch manager at a financial place. I do taxes and loans, so pretty standard.
Did you graduate high school?
I did. I graduated high school. I did 2 years at the Milwaukee Institute of Art and Design. Didn't finish there, but still love art, you know.
And how old were you when you left home?
I was 18.
And where did you go?
I went to the dorms where I was living there for school for a bit.
Okay. Your mom, I assume, since she has younger kids, that they're your half-siblings.
Yes.
Okay. How old are your other children?
They're 4, 5, and then I have a 17, an 18, and then 26.
Okay. When you went off to college, you got student loans?
Yes.
To do that?
Yes.
And you were there for a couple of years and left. Tell me why you left school.
I was not doing well mentally. I actually started there living in the dorms and then coming back home. At the time, it was about a half-an-hour drive. I worked in my hometown, and then I went to school in Milwaukee. So it was about a half-hour drive. I'd come back on the weekends and work. In that process, I would stay at her house on the weekends, but I wasn't able to continue to do that, actually, because she kicked me out at that point then, too. So this is reoccurring.
So that would make you about 20.
At that time, I think I was 19 and a half-ish going on, around, close.
Close to 20. And you had a falling out with your mom then?
Yes.
Okay, not important as to why. And then you were on your own. Tell me when you went back to your mom's house and under what circumstances?
So in April of 2023, I lost my job due to them closing offices. So I just wasn't able to.
Were you continuously working from the time you were 20?
Yes.
And you left school?
Yes, not the same job, but yes.
But yes, and you were living by yourself?
Yes.
And paying your own rent?
Yes.
You have a car?
Yes.
Buy it yourself?
No, but I guess technically it wasn't a loan, but it was from like a family that I was paying them. So yes.
Okay.
Title's in my name, yes.
Yeah, so you bought it. So when you were 20, you were on your own, self-supporting.
Yes.
But not bad. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Not bad. Today's day and age, that is a big, not bad, to be 20 and on your own.
Yeah.
So you lost your job.
Yes. So essentially I was working at this job since 2020, I believe it was, so about 3 years at this point. And they decided they were going to close all of the surrounding offices where I was and then the ones around it. So I didn't really have many options. So they gave me severance. I left. I was working on severance, or, I was waitressing on the side getting severance. And then I also received unemployment during that time as well to just continue with my rent that I had with the lease.
Okay. And then?
So I'm sorry. And then I went, I was, getting unemployment. It started to short out a little bit around August. It was getting a little bit difficult to pay my rent. So I decided that it would be easiest to not do that anymore. I moved in with my mother, asked if she could help me at that time of need. Yes.
And she said yes.
And she said yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So tell me, so you moved back home with your mom, and I assume between 2 and 4 siblings.
Yeah, well, there was 2 originally. One is in college right now, and then the other one ended up moving back as well.
The 17-year-old?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So is back home with the 4 and 5-year-old?
As far as I know, yes.
Is that right?
Correct.
And you live there with your husband?
Correct.
And 4, 5, and 17-year-old?
Yes.
So you moved back in April?
No, I lost my job in April, moved back around August. So it was, the news happened in August that it was going to be an eviction otherwise. So I realized that I wanted to avoid that, obviously, on my record. So I reached out to her in a moment of panic. She helped me out. I had my stuff moved in within days.
Great. Why were you annoyed with her?
It was midnight, and I had asked her if she had been at her friend's for a couple days, why she couldn't have ate before she came home.
Did you texted that to her?
I texted that to her.
Well, that's nasty.
Janice Eckstein claims her mother, Jessica Lornson, assaulted her and stole money she received from Janice. Jessica is countersuing for the cost of a couch.
Okay, according to you, the deal was that you would work, which you did.
Yes.
Got another job.
Yes.
You moved in August. When did you get another job?
Right away. It was actually, I moved in like halfway through August, somewhere in the near September. So I got a job immediately on, it was September 19th was my first day.
Are you still there?
Yes.
What kind of work is it?
Taxes and loans.
That's what I thought you said. And you started to give your mom money from your paycheck.
Immediately.
For?
To save for me so that I could get out on my own again and get an apartment.
How come you didn't put it in a bank?
I should have. Hindsight, but my bank was out in Fond du Lac, so it was just a far drive, and my work issued me a payroll card, so that's what I was using at the time, and she actually insisted that I give her the money rather than, so that I can't have access to it, basically, because she thinks that I wouldn't have the ability to not spend it, basically. So that was the point.
Okay, and you were saving the money for her?
Correct.
How much did you save for her?
We saved, I think there was $1,800 in there. And I did ask her several times to go and open up a bank account.
Okay, but you said you saved $1,800. That was $1,800. Was it in a bank account?
No, I had it set aside in an envelope that said Shanice's savings on it.
So it's somewhere between $1,800 and $2,500.
I have it actually in my evidence. I have all my pay stubs, and then I also have all of my bank statements showing when I pulled money out. That all add up to $2,600. And then I also have my, there was also like a note that I kept in my phone to save every time that I pulled out and gave her money so that I could keep track of it. So,
okay. Do you have any documentation of how much money she gave you?
It was written on an envelope at home. I don't have that.
The answer is no.
No.
Okay, so I'd like to see.
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
From your phone. That would be most helpful.
I don't have it on my phone. It's right here. So this is the beginning of it. This is the savings. And then throughout, you'll get the bank statements first. And then right after, immediately, is all of my pay stubs.
Savings at Mom's, I have $2,300.
That's because she also borrowed $200 from me for, I'm assuming, my brother's car payment at the time. I also have that in text messages of her borrowing that.
Well, let me see the text message of that, please. Yes, you remember borrowing $200 from her?
So I had asked her, yes.
Yes, you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. That's $2,500. Okay. Then there came a time when you had a problem.
Yes.
Tell me when that was.
I left her house on the night of, it was November 24th. I came back on November 25th around 11:30. I went out to see some friends in Fond du Lac. So she actually sent me with some plates for Thanksgiving to give to my friends. So everything was all cordial and fine at the time of me leaving on Friday night. Came back on Saturday night, and initially it started with a text message I sent my brother. I asked him if he wanted to split a pizza. I was coming home, just to hang out with him. He told me he wasn't home. So I texted my mother and I asked her, where's Joe? And she told me that he was out with friends, whatever, but she was being very short with me. There's just very short responses. I was asking her if she had a problem. She said no. I said, okay. So I got home and she had an attitude with me still. So I addressed it. I said, what's the problem? And it ended up raising voices. We ended up yelling at each other.
Okay.
Yes.
So stop. So tell me what happened. Why were you annoyed with her?
So in the text messages, I had asked her, it was midnight, and I had asked her if she had been at her friend's for a couple of days, why she couldn't have ate before she came home, because we had the little one sleeping and my significant other sleeps out in the living room because of just sleeping arrangements with the little kids. And I asked her that, and she said, I don't know what your problem is. And then when she got home, it just turned into something more.
I don't understand what you're...
May I say something?
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not following you.
So she texted me and asked where Joe was.
She left on a Friday.
Yep. To go up to Fond du Lac.
And she was coming home on Saturday.
Correct.
What time?
She texted me, it was about 11:30, saying that she was about 15 minutes out.
11:30 in the evening?
Correct.
So she gave you a heads up that she was out. She had her own key, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's fine.
Yes.
And then she said she was hungry? Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so she said she was hungry, and your response was, why didn't you eat with your friends? Mm-hmm. Because why you want to eat when you come home?
Yeah, my boyfriend does get up at 4:30 in the morning, and she knows that, so I just thought it was like, why couldn't this be taken care of before you came home instead of at midnight? Because it kind of disrupts the house, I guess.
You must have had a bad day with somebody that day. That's not something that I would actually say to one of my children. I'm just letting you know.
Well, right.
I'm just letting you know. You might have just had a bad day. Who is this?
This is my mother-in-law, Diane.
I mean, she had somebody who was responsible. She texted you that she was coming home. She clearly knew that you would be up if she texted you, because you probably stay up late.
Right.
And sometimes more than I used to get. I'm on my way home 15 minutes out. What? I would say, what kind of medication are you on? Telling me 26 years old and tell me.
We've just had talks before, about just the times of arriving at home and, with the kids sleeping and Josh in the living room. It was just, I think, more of just a respect thing. That was all.
But not a big deal.
No.
Doesn't sound like a big deal to me. Mm-mm. So then what happened when she got home?
So she came in the house and she said, when she opened up the door.
No, look at me.
When she opened up the door, she said, what's your problem, when she first walked in?
Well, what had you responded to her? Had you said to her, why didn't you eat with your friends? Had you texted that to her?
I texted that to her. Yeah.
Well, that's nasty. Okay. So she came in and she said, what's your problem? Mm-hmm. And then?
And she kept getting louder, and I asked her at least 5 or 6 times to just please be quiet. The little ones were sleeping.
Is that the way it went? I mean...
That is the way it went.
You keep your fingers crossed that your 17, 18, 4- and 5-year-olds turn out as articulately and independently as your 26-year-old. Rather than picking a fight with her, you should be proud of her.
Shanice Eckstein is accusing her mother, Jessica Lornson, of stealing her money while they live together. Jessica is countersuing, claiming Shanice's cats ruined her couch.
Okay, she was getting louder because you were saying what?
She just kept saying, "What's your problem? What's your problem? Why are you angry? Like, what's your problem?" And it kept getting louder, and I asked.
And what did you answer? Just a second. So what did she ask what your problem was? Because it was a curt sort of text. And what did you respond to her?
I just asked her to lower her tone at first, and it just kept escalating and escalating.
No, but did you answer her?
I did not.
Why?
Because I answered her in the text message. That's all.
That's incorrect.
What
like
did you?
I just said, you know, why can't you eat before you come home? I know it's
just a second. Well, that I know, but now she's home, and she says to you, "What's your problem?"
I just think it's just how she approached me. That's all, ma'am. I don't.
Had you had a fight with your boyfriend?
No, we actually get along really well.
Okay, and then it escalated. Is that right?
Yes.
And you left.
Yes. Well, actually, I would like to also mention that they were both awake in the kitchen, or I'm sorry, in the living room watching TV when I got home. They were both still awake, actually.
Both your mom and her boyfriend?
Yes, both my mom and her boyfriend were awake. The kids were sleeping, but they were out in the living room with the dogs and everything. Everyone was hanging out. That's the setting. And I would also like to note that my 17-year-old brother was also out and not even returned home yet, was driving her car at the time. I came back at a reasonable time, let her know with my own car. So that's setting the scene, clearing that up.
Is there anything that your daughter just said that is
yes,
inaccurate?
Josh was actually sleeping on the couch until she came in the first, like when it started getting loud, he woke up.
She said he was out.
No, my son was out. My 17-year-old.
Your 17-year-old was out. Where was he?
At a friend's. He was hanging out.
Was he coming home?
Yes.
So your daughter came home before he did?
Correct.
How do you get along with your mother's boyfriend?
He's a really nice guy, actually. I'm very happy that he is around her. I was hoping that it would make her a little bit of a better person, but I do like him. He's a good guy.
Now, going over the numbers, Ms. Lawrenson, you saved $2,500 of your daughter's pay, and that was your understanding that you were saving it for her. You indicated it was in an envelope. It was an envelope with her name on it. She left. I don't care what the circumstances were of her leaving. That's her money.
Right. I did ask her, the original agreement when she moved in was to contribute to groceries.
No.
Contribute to groceries to help out with like household stuff. Our utility bills did go up, and I had to talk with her out in our garage, asking her if she can contribute a little bit. I literally live week to week, paycheck to paycheck. And I asked her if she'd help me. She said she would.
Okay, but you asked her to help you. She never did. She just gave you money to save for her.
Correct.
Well, then you owe her $2,500. That's her money. That's her money. That's not a contract. Can you help out with the groceries? Can you help out with the utility bills? That's not a contract. I'm going to save your money for you so you can move out and be on your own. That's a contract. So you have to give her back her money. Money owed for damaged property. You've got one couch?
Correct.
And it's a leather couch.
Correct.
Have you had that couch since you had your 4- and 5-year-old?
Yes.
So you have a 4- and 5-year-old that use that couch and sit on that couch and play with that couch. Now I want you to show me a picture of how you say her cat or cats destroyed the couch.
Okay. There is these four here. And it's on the arms, on each of the arms, and then on the bottom footrest.
No, this is a worn couch.
I know the seats are, yes.
Oh, come on. What, are you kidding me? Miss Lawrenson, all I can do is suggest to you that you keep your fingers crossed that your 17, 18, 4- and 5-year-olds turn out as articulately and independently as your 26-year-old. I wish you good luck with that, but it seems to me that rather than picking a fight with her, you should be proud of her. She's been on her own for a very long time, taking care of herself, seemingly responsibly, and you were short with her. You were short with her that day. It was an unloving, that text to her about why can't you eat with your friends was an unloving, non-maternal response. You understand?
Yes.
Good. So you owe your daughter $2,500. She owes you nothing. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
I feel that I didn't get to speak on everything and that I wasn't heard.
Honestly, very grateful.
I was honest in my statement and had all my evidence.
Just very grateful and ready to be done with all of this. I just wiping my slate clean, absolutely done.
Just if she would have read all like the details that I had with the dates, the times, just things that Shanice and I have been through in the past.
Probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done, but I had to do it. So we did it and we're here and I'm done.
She owes me more money, $500 for an electric bill that she never paid me.
She never loaned me any money in the first place, so she's holding on to something that doesn't exist, and that's unfortunate for her.
It hurts. It does.
Because it's been a long time coming. It's been years of her putting me down and just being the thing that stands in my way of my full potential, and I don't know what the reason is.
I don't want nothing to do with her.
Finally, I had to just stop because I have a life to live.
I've given it a lot of thought.
I hope she lives the best life she can.
No, she's burned the bridges.
I hope I never have to cross paths with her again.
I was really impressed by that young woman.
Yeah, seemed like she had it all figured out from a pretty young age, responsible, taking care of herself.
Paid her rent, bought a car,
Yeah.
paid it off, texted her mother, I'm on the road, I'll be home in 15 minutes.
Yeah, overly accommodating and understanding. It's just unfortunate. I know she probably, all she wanted was her mother to acknowledge all of those things as positives, you know, and having a daughter that accomplished that much at such a young age.
Yeah.
I'd want my parents to acknowledge and celebrate that, and I feel like she didn't get that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah. At least she got her money back, though.
Case number 3094, Hilden versus Hilden. All parties, please step forward.
Hunter Hilden is suing his mother, Vicky Hilden, for the value of personal items and online defamation.
Mr. Hilden, this is your mother.
Yes.
And while the case has a lot of nonsense in it, it boils down to the following. You and your mother, according to you, purchased a home together. The house is in both your names. You moved into the house with your mother, and you and your mother came to a period where you were on bad terms. It had to do with your girlfriend.
Correct.
And you say you were forced out of the home. And what you're really requesting is money for the items that you purchased in the house, that you left in the house after you were forced to leave.
Correct.
And Miss Hilden, you have a counterclaim. Counterclaim said that when he left his very large dog. And you either want him to pay for the maintenance of the dog, or you want him to turn over the dog to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's deal with the dog issue first.
That was money taken out to blow at the casino.
To blow at the casino,
To gamble.
$8,029?
Yes.
No,
she continues to have gambling issues. Had gone through probably about $100,000 in between.
Well, your mother didn't accumulate that delivering packages. Where did you get $100,000?
That was what she won at the casino.
Hunter Hilden claims his mother, Vicky Hilden, owes him for personal items. Vicky is countersuing her son for property damage and a German Shepherd.
Now, dog is a German Shepherd.
Correct.
When was it purchased?
I believe about July of this last year.
And when you left the house, you left with your girlfriend.
Correct.
Where did you move to?
Right now, it's kind of still up in the air between my younger sisters and my grandpa's.
Okay, so you can't bring the dog.
Correct.
Mr. Hilden, you let the dog stay with your mother.
I don't have a choice in the matter. I've been
Good.
told
Well,
that
very good.
not.
I'm taking the choice from you so you don't feel as if you're abandoning the dog. So that takes care of the dog. Now let's take care of your appliances. You moved into the house and purchased the house with your mother, month and year.
May of 2022.
And exactly what appliances do you believe that you can establish that you purchased for the house?
Oh, I've got receipts for the kitchen appliances, the washer and dryer.
Washer, dryer, and kitchen appliances. What kitchen appliances?
A refrigerator, microwave, dishwasher, and stove.
Yeah, I see the receipts.
Yes.
Mrs. Hilden, do you work?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I deliver packages.
What kind of work does your son do?
He works at a warehouse forklift.
Now, who purchased those appliances?
I did.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let's see. All these things were financed.
Correct. Under my credit, under my name, some of which is still being paid on.
Well, who's paying for them?
Me.
Show me proof that you're paying for these items now, since you left in November.
Okay. Am I able to bring my phone out?
Whatever you like. And you're making payments to whom?
To Samsung.
I'd like you to tell me when you bring it up on your phone, what's the balance owing?
Currently only about 500. I've got all my statements pulled up right now.
And you paid off the rest?
Correct.
Kevin, I'd like you to get from Mrs. Hilden her proof that she purchased these items. No, you didn't pay cash for all the new appliances, madam, of $8,029.50. I don't know what that's for.
That's the money we took out for appliances.
Took it out from where?
From my checking. We shopped around, and that's when he decided to use Samsung credit, but we still had that cash.
So what did you do with the cash?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Mr. Hilden that.
As far as the $8,600, that was money taken out to blow at the casino.
To blow at the casino,
To gamble.
$8,00029?
Yes.
No.
The same month you bought a house?
Yes.
No,
she had gambling issues. I mean, she continues to have gambling issues. Had gone through probably about $100,000 in between then and now. So.
Well, your mother didn't accumulate that delivering packages.
No.
And you work in a warehouse. Where did you get $100,000?
That was where. That's what she won at the casino. But she also put it back where she won it at.
I want to know what the $8,029.50 was.
I'm not
I'm
understanding.
not buying this, taking out cash to buy
Ma'am,
appliances.
when I put money down on the home, and I was putting money down as an investment when I did win at the casino, that was put aside, and it's an odd amount. That's because we were shopping around. We took cash directly out to shop around, but he ended up buying a bundle from the Samsung website, and he ended up applying for a Samsung credit card. So that money that was originally to go to the appliances, I don't know where it went because he had applied for credit. We were getting the appliances through delivery a little at a time.
So what you're telling me is you cashed this check and...
It's a withdrawal slip, ma'am.
No, I'm not buying any of this stuff here for cash. That's not happening. How much do you earn at your job?
About $20 an hour.
Okay. Kevin, can I see his phone, please?
It'll be under overview or statements or down that way.
So there's $500 left. And the appliances are in the home?
The refrigerator, yes. The microwave, yes. The stove, we never hooked up the stove.
Why?
We work a lot, so I don't cook like that. We just never hooked up the stove yet. I cook on a fryer, a skillet. We have not hooked up the actual stove yet. And as far as...
Washer, dryer?
Yes, washer and dryer.
So you use those things?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is your intention, Mr. Hilden? What do you think's going to happen with the joint ownership in this house?
I was hoping to put it up for a forced sale and just cut ties completely.
Well, that's far beyond my pay grade. Okay. So you have $556 left on these items, and I think that it's more than fair that your mother, if she's enjoying them and in the house, that she take care of the rest of that bill.
Ma'am, I have to show that I paid for the washer and dryer.
I see. $2,200 transfer from Vicki Hilden to Hunter. What was that for, Mr. Hilden?
It was for the washer and dryer, yes.
So what's left is, for the other items, $556 owing to Samsung. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, very easy. You're going to take care of your Samsung bill, continue to use that, and I would suggest that you hook up the stove. And On the claim, I'm awarding the plaintiff $556. On the counterclaim, you have the dog. Thank you very much. This case is over.
This court is adjourned.
Just because I've been done dirty so long, and I just thought finally something would come about of it.
I do gamble, but I don't have a problem with it.
I don't think I'll have enough time for the childhood traumas.
My door's closed.
No, he's dead to me.
What I found fascinating was that he has a job where he makes $20 an hour. His mother delivers packages. Can't be high-income family. And they purchased this house, and they put down a substantial down payment.
Yeah.
Where did you get the $100,000 from? She must be a terrific gambler.
Yeah, she must be.
Her bank account shows that she transferred thousands of dollars
Oh, yeah.
to him. It's fascinating.
Almost $10,000 transferred to him
Fascinating.
that we saw.
If I win $20 in the slot machines, I'm over the moon. $100,000, she must be pretty good.
Not half bad.
Yeah.
I've been told several other times in the past.
Show me. Well, they told you must close the garage door.
This is my first time seeing those letters.
This is Judy Justice. Robert Diaz is suing his neighbor, Lindsay Wilcox, for the cost of a car due to her negligence.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case number 3114, Diaz versus Wilcox.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Diaz, you and Miss Wilcox live in the same apartment building.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've been living there how long?
A year, approximately.
And you?
Just over 3 years.
How many stories are in the building?
1-level garage and then
4 levels.
4 levels.
Okay. I see that you must have brought a photograph of the garage.
Yes.
Okay. And each apartment has its own garage door. Is that right?
You share with another apartment. So
Okay, so there are 2 cars that fit in each bay.
Yes.
And you get 1 parking space per apartment.
For me personally, I have a tandem parking spot. So my parking garage door, it can hold 4 cars total because we have 2 tandem spots, me and the neighbor that I share the door with.
Got it. Mr. Diaz, it is your claim that on December 21st,
correct,
your car was stolen out of the parking garage. And it is your claim that it was stolen as a result of Miss Wilcox's negligence in that she left her garage door open, which allowed the thieves to come in and steal your car. That's the theory of your case.
Correct.
Okay. I want you to show me proof first that she left her garage door open.
There's video footage there.
I'd like to see it. That's you pulling out, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Who's that purple car?
Someone just randomly seen a garage unit open and just...
No, so you don't know?
No, I don't.
Nobody that lives there?
No.
Miss Wilcox?
Yes.
You left at 11 o'clock on the 20th at 4:30 in the morning. These thieves come in, clearly a group of thieves, and steal Mr. Diaz's car. Could you tell me why you left at 11 o'clock at night and didn't close the garage door after you?
Well, I was going to my friend's house. The reason I didn't close the garage door, I couldn't say. I had lived there for over 3 years, and I've done the same thing every day, multiple times a day. I press the button to open the garage, I pull out, I press the button to close the garage door, and I drive away. And an issue had never been brought up, so I didn't think to do anything differently. And
what do you mean you push a button and the garage door closes? What does that mean?
My garage door opener.
But you didn't wait to see whether or not it closed?
Not all the way.
Had anybody ever complained to you before about leaving your garage door open?
No, ma'am.
Nobody had contacted you?
Not once.
Well, you're not responsible for somebody else's criminal behavior, but you would admit that that's negligent in leaving your garage door open. It was clear that these opportunists took advantage of the fact that the garage door was open in order to steal his car.
Absolutely. I definitely would have never left my garage door open on purpose. And if an issue had ever been brought up to me, it would have been solved months ago.
Did they ever find your car?
They've still never found the vehicle yet.
Okay. When did you purchase the car, Mr. Diaz?
February 2020.
What kind of car was it? It's a little car.
It's a Kia Soul.
What year?
2018.
And how much did you pay for it?
$16,000.
Did you take out a loan? Just a second. Did you take out a loan?
Yes.
And I assume that it had not been paid off in 2020.
No, one more year.
And I also assume that you didn't have insurance that you were required to have by the loan company.
I had insurance for it. I purchased the vehicle for my wife as a present.
Listen, don't give me a whole story. Clearly, she shouldn't have left her garage door open,
Yes.
right? You had an agreement with the loan company that you would have the car fully insured until the loan was paid back. If you had the car fully insured, they would have paid the value of the car, right?
Yes.
Now, after your car was stolen, did you contact the insurance company?
I did immediately.
You did immediately. And you were told that your claim was not allowed because do you have a letter from the insurance company?
Excuse me?
Do you have a letter from the insurance company? You contacted the insurance company. Did you get paid for the car?
No, I did not get paid for the car.
Why?
Because I had liability, which was for accidental. I didn't have for theft.
Yeah, but you're supposed to, pursuant to the terms of your loan, right?
Correct. I bought the vehicle for my wife. She had the insurance.
So if your wife had insurance, then it would have...
I thought she had full coverage insurance on it.
So you were mistaken.
Yes, and...
Just a second. So you made a mistake.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
She made a mistake. You still owe on the car. She's not going to pay off your car. If you had no loan on the car with any responsibility to maintain insurance on it, which you did and which you purposefully didn't do because it was more expensive, to maintain insurance full coverage, which everyone is required to maintain when they have a loan on a car.
Yes, Your Honor, you're right.
Well, that's true, right? Yeah. You think she purposefully left the door open there so that someone could come in and steal your car?
No.
Of course not.
It wasn't the first time, though. She has been told several times in the past. And
by whom?
By the unit. We have...
Just a second. Show me. This is September 21st, 2021. Well, they told you, please be advised, you must close the garage door. They were sent to you. You had notice of the problem, because she's going to call them.
Yeah, I believe that they attempted, but I believe that they failed to inform me.
Not necessary, Sarah.
And later today.
He said he was going to the concert. You mean he was going to the concert, but he didn't have a ticket?
That's what he said on the 22nd.
Look at me. You're missing a step, Mr. Pike.
Yes.
Don't look at your notes.
Sorry.
Robert Diaz claims his neighbor, Lindsay Wilcox, negligently left the garage door open, resulting in his car being stolen.
They told you, please be advised, you must close the garage door. Kevin, show that to her. It's October 17th. This is December. Show those to her. You received these?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not receive those. This is my first time seeing those letters.
Really?
Yes. I don't know if they were supposed to go to my email or I don't know where those went.
Would you do something for me, Sarah? Look up Plaza Homeowners. You would agree, Miss Wilcox, that if the Homeowners Association says that they were sent to you, I don't know how they were sent, slipped under your door, it doesn't look as if it's an email, that you had notice of the problem, because she's going to call them.
Yeah, I believe that they attempted, but...
That they what?
That they attempted, but I believe that they failed to inform me.
Not necessary, Sarah. Okay, so I'm going to take that as I got these under my door, or I got these in my mailbox. They attempted, but they didn't inform. How would you know that they attempted?
I spoke with my neighbor, and she claimed that she had written those out and left them on my door.
Your neighbor, not the Homeowners Association.
I don't know if she's a part of the Homeowners Association. She said that she left those on my door, and I maintained with her that I never received them.
I don't believe that.
That I never received them?
Yeah.
I never received them. I'm sorry.
Well, it's left over here on December 21st, 2023. This was December 14th, 2023. Did you leave the garage door open?
On the 21st?
On the 14th.
I have no idea.
Do you have a remote button in your car?
I don't keep it in my car. I carry it with me.
Carry it with you where?
I take it up to my apartment with me and keep it by my front door. And then when I go out the back stairs, I open the garage door from there so that I can get in.
With a button?
Yes.
And then what do you do with the remote? Where do you put
I take it with me in the car, and I keep it next to me in the car, and as I pull out, I press the button, and then I drive away.
So that was your routine on this date, that you pulled out, pressed the button, and then drove away. So there would be a pause in your car as you were pulling away. Could we go back to the tape of Miss Wilcox pulling out of her space? Yeah, you didn't press any button.
As I'm pulling out, I usually reach down to press the button.
You didn't. Both hands were on the steering wheel. You want to play that back? Both hands on the steering wheel, hand over hand. You didn't press anything. Okay, Miss Wilcox, there is no question you're not going to pay him for a car because A, you didn't steal it, and B, you may have been negligent leaving it open, but that doesn't mean that you're responsible for his car. Most importantly for me, Mr. Diaz purposefully didn't have his car insured as he was supposed to by virtue of his contract with the lender. That's on you.
I assume my wife had full coverage vehicle because I was a present for her. She had a basic liability. She didn't have full coverage.
Why is that her problem?
It would never happen if the garage had been closed when she left.
Who knows? I know that from what I see, she did not close the garage door. And I'm going to give her a little bit for not doing what she was supposed to. The responsibility of maintaining insurance was yours. You can't say, I thought my wife had the insurance. You have a loan. You have to have insurance on the car.
We had the insurance payment 6 months in advance, and I assumed it was full coverage, Your Honor.
Then you made a what?
Mistake.
So did she, right?
Correct.
Okay. She's going to give you enough money so that you can pay insurance on another car for a little bit. She's going to give you $500. The rest of it is on you. Close the garage door. When you leave, it allows people to come in and do bad things. You can't be held responsible for what other bad people did. By the way, how much do you still owe on the car, sir?
$8,000.
That's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Insurance. That's why you have insurance. The bank coming after you?
Yeah. Well, I have to pay it.
I would say that you do. Anyway, judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $500. Be careful the next time.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're done.
This court is adjourned.
It's fortunate that I was not held financially responsible for the full amount of the car because I did not steal a car.
It's funny how she's been told about it, and then she says no one's ever told her about it.
You know, ever since I've been contacted about the issue, I can guarantee that no one's had any issues with my garage door.
Make sure you close the garage. That's all it is. It's not that hard to press a button.
I don't think that her negligence in failing to close the door precipitated the theft of the car. But I think that she was wrong, and I don't think she closed the garage door because I was watching her hand-on-hand motion. You know, she said it was by the console, so I didn't see any time when she could have pressed a button. But Mr. Diaz knew that he didn't have insurance on the car because it was expensive. Yeah. So he just had one kind of insurance that didn't cover theft. And he was supposed to. He knew he was supposed to.
Well, that's why banks require you to have full coverage for situations like this. Now, like he said, he's stuck paying $8,000 for an asset that he no longer has, but that's not the bank's problem.
Case 3143, Child versus Hudson. All parties, please come forward.
Taylor Child is suing her former friend, Crystal Huddleston, for the cost of a motorcycle and riding boots.
I know very little about motorcycles. I know that the couple of times I've been on them, I didn't like it. Just seems to me that when you're surrounded with 3,000-pound cars, you want more around you than fresh air. So maybe I'll get somewhat of an education doing this case. I doubt it. You won't?
Taylor Child is accusing her former friend, Crystal Huddleston, of owing for the cost of a motorcycle after crashing it into a tree. Crystal is countersuing Taylor for medical bills.
Miss Child, you like motorcycles.
Correct.
And you've been riding them a long time.
Yes.
And you purchased a motorcycle from someone used, and you paid $3,500 for it.
Yes.
Who's Scott?
Him.
That would be him. You and Scott work on the motorcycles together.
Yes.
And you brought the motorcycle back to your place, and you did some work on the chain and a lube job and who knows what else. But then when you tested it out, Scott thought, according to you, it needed a little more work, and he was going to take it back to his house to do a little more work on it. So far, correct?
Correct.
So Scott took this motorcycle back to his house. Now, this young lady doesn't ride motorcycles, but she rides as a passenger on motorcycles, but she wanted to learn about it, and she, too, was a friend of Scott's.
Correct.
So she was at Scott's house while he was futzing around with this motorcycle, and she decided she wanted to ride it and wanted Scott to help her learn to ride a motorcycle. Is not an answer. Is that correct?
No.
Tell me where I'm wrong.
The morning of September 29th, Taylor had my riding equipment in her car, and she and I had an agreement that I was going to learn with Scott on the bike. The night previous, we had a group chat.
And at some point, you had to have asked her if you could ride the bike. You know, certain things are common sense, certain things aren't common sense. Don't think about your ultimate counterclaim here, because that's not going to be good for you anyway, in all probability. You understand that?
Yes.
Yes, we have to take responsibility for our own actions. But at some point, you asked her if you could ride her bike.
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, you knew the bike was at Scott's house.
Yes.
And when Scott gave you the bike to ride, you rode it alone.
Yes.
Had you ever ridden a bike alone before?
Yes.
How many times?
5.
Whose bike?
Ryan's bike.
And Ryan is your?
Boyfriend.
Okay. When Ryan let you ride his bike 5 times, were you good at it?
I would like to think so.
Well, then what did you want to ride her used bike for and learn how to ride?
I wanted to get more practice before I bought my own bike.
Okay, so you wanted to get more practice. Why didn't you ask your boyfriend if you could ride his bike?
Ryan and I were in a fight that morning.
So you mean instantly you had a fight with him in the morning, and then you were going to pursue your dream of motorcycle riding that day? Am I understanding you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. So this is what happened. So you got on the bike and you wrecked it.
Yes.
And she's suing for the wrecked bike.
Correct.
And you're counterclaiming because you said, I didn't know that it didn't have a lube job, and I was terribly injured, which you were, hospitalized, right?
Yes.
Because that's what happens when you ride something with just the air around you. You weren't in an accident with another bike or a car. You wrapped the bike around a tree.
Yes.
And of course, that had to be somebody else's fault. Not the fault of the rider who was learning how to ride, but it had to be somebody else's fault who let you use the bike to learn how to ride.
No, I take full responsibility for crashing this bike.
You take full responsibility. So why don't you pay her for the bike instead of countersuing her for $10,000?
The bike was unregistered, uninsured, and Taylor and I have an agreement, or had an agreement, that I would pay her in full by March 29th.
Pay her in full for what?
For the bike.
And?
And the boots that she gave me.
So you had an agreement with her after this incident. By the way, what was the date of the incident?
September 29th.
Okay, so you had an agreement after you destroyed the bike and after you recovered from your injuries, you had an agreement with her that you were going to pay her for the bike by March 29th.
Yes.
Why didn't you pay her?
I have been paying the medical bills off.
Okay, well, that's fair. So in anticipation of your not paying her back, she's suing you now, and you decided to counterclaim.
Yes.
That makes my life so much easier. Good. Did she agree to pay you back for the bike?
Yes.
She's telling you this, in legalese, we call this an anticipatory breach. She's telling you now on March 19th that she's not going to pay you on March 29th. So 10 days from now, she's not going to pay you because she's been paying off the medical bills. That's why we're here.
Correct.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,500. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done here. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
What happened is Taylor blatantly lied and said that I could ride her bike, and that's it. It's cut and clean. I crashed, I take responsibility for it, and that's it.
I didn't get full permission. It was discussed prior to
the case, well, prior to the incident, that I would teach her, and they already had access to my bike. I was on gravel. I lost control of the bike. I popped a wheelie, and then I popped another wheelie. I received a call from Scott, my witness. The clutch gave out, and I couldn't stop the bike, so I made a decision to not go into my car and go into a tree. He said, hey, get here quick. Crystal's in an ambulance. She wrapped your bike around a tree. Taylor and I are not friends. We're not friends. I don't like snakes. I'm sorry.
Rarely do we get one that easy. I mean, it was clear she rode the bike, she wrapped the trees, she damaged it.
She made an agreement to pay for it?
Made an agreement to pay for it, and although she didn't reach exactly, the 10 days from now in which she would have breached it, I think plaintiff was entitled to it. And you assume the risk when you do dangerous adult activities, such as riding a motorcycle, and just like you said, you can't shift the blame after the fact to anyone else out there. That's your own fault, and anything that comes to you deserves to come to you.
That's it. Well, you need all kinds of IQs.
LaQuesa Morin is suing her former landlord, Kagan Tudley, for security deposits, rent payments, and sexual harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3145, Morton versus Totley.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Morton, you rented a room, allegedly, from the defendant. You never moved in. And there are reasons that you say you never moved in. And you want your money back, actually, for your rent and whatever deposit you made. The rest of it is for misrepresentation and harassment, a whole bunch of stuff. Tell me when you rented this room from him and how you found it.
So in October of 2023, I was looking for another apartment because my lease was coming to an end. So I came across this ad on Craigslist.
May I see it, please?
And it was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment.
Hold on. Did you place this ad, sir?
Yes, I did.
This says female student looking for a female roommate.
My ex-girlfriend, when I had her at my place, she didn't want a guy roommate, so she posted the ad when she was there.
Well, that's misrepresenting what was there. You were living in the apartment?
I was there. Okay.
Were you living in the apartment?
Yes.
So this is a misrepresentation of what was supposed to be a female roommate. So you went and you met him?
Correct.
Who did you think he was?
He said that he was the landlord, according to this lease agreement, and that's how he represented himself going
When you
forward.
went to look at, did you look in the closets?
No, he said that the woman living there was his girlfriend and that he would have to give me the tour because she's not there.
Oh, so he gave you a whole excuse?
Right.
Okay. Can I see the lease, please? Thank you. Okay, so you're the one who signed this thing as the landlord.
Right.
Another misrepresentation. You were not the landlord. Let me understand this. You had been living there with your girlfriend.
Correct.
You had a fight with her.
Yes, we did.
And she left. Did she leave to go home to her parents? Or did she go someplace else?
She went home for a little bit.
How long did she stay at her parents'?
She was there for like 2 weeks.
Does your girlfriend work? It's not an answer.
No, I mean,
Does
I
your
don't know what she's
girlfriend
doing
work?
right now. She's my ex, but at the moment, she wasn't working.
Who was supporting her?
Her parents and me.
Oh, just a second. Her parents and you. And what was the rent on the apartment?
$24.80.
$24.80. And how much of the $24.80 were her parents paying?
Nothing.
Nothing. So you were paying the entire rent.
Exactly.
What was she paying?
She wasn't paying anything. She was just living with me.
And you were covering all the expenses?
Yes.
Well, then why did you want some stranger moving into the apartment? Do you understand where I'm going? It doesn't make sense to me, sir. If you were paying for all the expenses and your girlfriend, because you had an argument, moved out, why you would want somebody else in there to pay rent when you had been paying it all yourself?
Because my business was slow at the time, and I needed someone else to take the room.
There you go.
Right.
So you needed money.
Right.
Now, is she still your girlfriend?
No.
But she moved back in again after she was, well, when she was going to move in, she saw your girlfriend there and you there. And I assume that when you saw them there, they weren't in the kitchen. Where were they? In what room?
Oh, are you asking if I saw him and his girlfriend?
Yeah.
I had never met the girlfriend.
Was there any reason that you thought that he had a girlfriend who was moving back into the apartment?
We had talked over WhatsApp, and he explained that they had a rough patch that they were going through, but that she was coming back, and that, you know, when I had moved there, that she would be there, and that he would introduce me to her.
Okay. So on what day were you supposed to move in?
I was supposed to move in November 9th.
And what was the rent you agreed on? I could read it here, but you can tell me.
It says $1,300, but he said it was $1,400.
Okay. Was the rent $1,300 or $1,400?
$13 plus $100 for utilities.
So the entire thing together, she was supposed to give you $1,400.
Yes, correct.
So tell me what happened that made you uncomfortable. You gave him the money. You were moving your things in. Tell me what happened.
So he asked me to come over for a tour that night, which I went over to see what it was like. And then I really liked the place. I mean, the amenities for that price in San Diego, it's a pretty good deal. And so he asked, you know, if you want it, it's yours. You know, I've had a lot of other applicants apply for this, but I like your energy the most, and I'd feel comfortable having you move in. You know,
And what difference it make? He's the landlord.
Right. So I was just really excited to be living there, and that I was the one he chose to live there out of his other applicants that he said he had. And so during the tour, he showed me just the main common areas, the common room areas, and then my room, my bathroom. And then he asked if I wanted to go out later that night, that his friend would be there to kind of like celebrate me moving in, as well as talk about, you know, more about the rental and what my other roommate was like. Because I asked him, you know, what is she like? What does she do? How old is she? I wanted, you know, information on her. And he said, oh, you would love her. She's very sweet. So I trusted that. And
I don't know why.
Yeah. So later on, we met at Nolita Hall, and we had like a couple drinks. His friend didn't show up, so it ended up just being him and I there. And then he asked if I wanted to go back to the apartment to further talk about the arrangement and stuff like that. And I agreed to that. At the apartment, he had showed me he had like drugs in one of the drawers. Like,
what kind of drugs?
Weed and ecstasy. And then he asked if I could kiss him, and that made me uncomfortable. He asked if I could show him my buttocks. That made me uncomfortable. And so the next morning, I told him.
What do you mean the next morning? I went from the evening coming in from drinks to the next morning. What happened at night?
It was basically playing music videos and then discussing the move-in, when I would be moving.
Well, that's a long discussion. So you spent the whole night there?
No, what ended up happening is I stayed a couple hours because I had a few drinks at Lolita Hall, and I didn't want to drive home with those drinks in my system. So
Okay.
I waited a couple hours, and then I left.
Okay.
And she said, look.
LaQuaza Morin claims her former landlord, Kagan Tudley, owes for a security deposit and rent after Kagan misrepresented the living situation.
Now, about what time did you leave?
This would have been about 1:30 or 2.
Then what happened?
Then the next morning, I remember messaging him. He was like, how are you feeling? And he apologized. I have that in text as well, if you want to see that.
I would.
I have that chat communication. He said it was a blur and that it wouldn't happen again. And 1 second.
Okay, you remember writing to her? What happened last night was just a big blur. I'm sober 99% of the time. I'd never bother you or make you feel uncomfortable. I apologize for that a million times.
Yes, Your Honor. Look, so everything she did was consensual. She was showing me her music videos that she was filming in Maryland. And then she's like, oh my God, like I lost.
What did you apologize for?
I'll get to that. So
well, no, get to that now.
But when she moved in, I told her that we were not gonna engage in any activities like that, like after she moved in. So we were intoxicated. She willingly took everything that she took that night. She drank willingly. And it was also her idea to come back to my place to end the night. And she actually did spend the night there. That's a lie. She did not leave until the morning. She was there all night long. And she even called her mom next to me. She was all jolly, happy, on drugs, and she was having a good time. And then she showed me her music videos that she filmed in Maryland. And she said, look, I lost so much weight. I used to have better attributes. And I'm like, you still look great. She goes, look, I'll show you. She got up and like, she showed me her body. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I was like, it's okay, whatever. And she sat back down. And we just spent the rest of the night and nothing happened.
What did you apologize for? You said, I apologize for that 1,000,000 times.
Because I said that it's not appropriate if you're going to live with me and my girlfriend's going to be around. What we did was not appropriate. It will never happen again. She said, I appreciate you saying that to me. I feel more comfortable now. So that's what happened.
She says to you, as long as we can keep things cordial and on friends' terms, I'm happy to move in. Just didn't want you to go into something where there were any expectations of me. And you respond, I can't express how grateful I am to have you move in as a roommate. What happened last night was just a big blur. I'm sober 99% of the time. I'd never bother you or make you feel uncomfortable. I apologize for that 1,000,000 times.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And she never moved in?
No, but that wasn't the reason why she never moved in. I don't think so.
Okay. Well, why don't you tell me why you think she didn't move in?
Your Honor, I cannot answer that. She's the only one.
No. You said I don't think that that's the reason.
I'm not sure. She did move in for one day, and then she moved out the next day.
Just a minute. You mean the night she stayed over when you went?
November 13th, she came in, and me and my girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, were being intimate in the room. And I thought that, oh my God,
that's
maybe she
just
heard.
a second.
Right.
Just a second. That's
Okay.
what I asked her before.
Right.
When I facetiously said, were they in the kitchen?
Your Honor, she didn't want to meet her. We knocked at her door. She said, not right now. She didn't even come out. So my ex was like, is she that rude? I'm like, she's actually a nice girl.
You have to understand something, sir.
Yes.
Your ad misrepresented what you were selling. Your ad represented that she was moving in with a female roommate, not you and your girlfriend, just the girlfriend. That's a material misrepresentation of what you were selling. Now, did you take her money?
Your Honor, yes, but she was extremely happy.
You have to give it back. You misrepresented to the buyer what she was buying. She was buying a one-room and a bathroom in a lovely two-bedroom apartment with a female student roommate. And what she was getting were you and your girlfriend and her. That's what she was getting.
Your Honor, she got me evicted. She went to the leasing office and...
Great! Now, how much did you pay him?
In total, $1,603.
$1,603 is exactly what you get back. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished. Thank you very much.
This court is adjourned.
No, I think she was after money or she was after this. I don't know. Maybe she had this whole thing planned out.
Be extremely careful. I mean, when you see an ad like that, female occupant looking for another female roommate, make sure you meet her.
I did not take advantage of her.
I mean, that was my error, but I had no reason. I went into trusting about it. I would just be very cautious because those scams do exist.
Clearest case of misrepresentation I think we've seen thus far. Easy. She had the original ad that she saw that enticed her to then go and meet with the landlord. And clearly he was not a young female student. And so that's a pretty material part of why she was looking at that particular apartment. And I think you made the right call. You gave her back exactly what she paid him, and I think that's what she's entitled to based on the misrepresentation that he did.
It made it easy because it was in writing.
Yeah.
Because you can understand somebody moving in with a female, even sight unseen, female student, and she met him. And certainly he looks reasonable. So, and it was explained who it was. It was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that they were a couple moving in. That's a whole different thing. So
signing up for something different.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was an easy call.
I was raised out in my house, lady eat first before men.
That's when her mom started tripping. This woman punched me in my face twice.
He supported your family.
Yes.
You were eating tacos that he bought.
Yeah, but
that might have entitled him to take his food first.
This is Judy Justice. Daniel Denham is suing his ex-girlfriend, Tamra Hoffbauer, and her daughter, Danae Outlaw, for an unpaid loan, unauthorized debit card charges, and a false arrest.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Judge, case 3177, Denham versus Hoffbauer, outlaw.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your last name is?
Hofbauer.
That's your daughter?
Yes.
17?
Yes.
Mr. Denham, you first met Miss Hofbauer, according to your complaint, years ago. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was in Minnesota,
Yes, it was.
where you were both living.
Yeah.
How old are you, sir?
31, ma'am.
And how old are you?
40.
You have 3 children?
Yes.
How old are they?
15, 17, and 19.
How old were you when you met the defendant?
19.
And how old were you?
I was 30, 31.
Doesn't all add up, but close. And you had a physical relationship. Is that right?
Yes.
Then you moved to California.
Yes.
In what year did you move to California?
I moved out of town first, and then I later moved to California right after. But that was about like 8 years into that.
Okay. And then somehow you and Miss Hofbauer reconnected. When was that?
I was around, it's like November of 2022. It was a year of 2022, I know that for sure. Not quite sure of the date, but it was in...
You reconnected how, on the internet?
Yes.
And according to what I read, you became close again, and you decided that you would move back to Minnesota, where Miss Hofbauer lived with her 3 children.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Only under the conditions of what I was doing for her, of course.
All I made was a stark statement, which was you decided to go back to live in Minnesota with Miss Hofbauer and her 3 children.
My apologies, yes.
And she didn't have any money. She had lost a job, she says. She was struggling financially. Where were you living, Miss Hofbauer, when you were having this internet romance with the plaintiff?
In 2022, I...
No. Just answer my question. Where were you living?
In my car.
With your 3 children?
Yes.
So you sent her $6,200 in order to find a place to live for herself, the 3 children, and you were going to join them. That's the story that I'm getting. Is that right?
Yes, and it was also to fix her car, too.
But you sent $6,200, and you do not deny that he sent you $6,200.
Nope.
No is the answer. And with that $6,200, you found a place to live, a rental.
Yes.
You put down month's rent, month's security, last month. How much was it that you put down?
$3,500.
And what did you do with the rest of the $6,200?
I fixed my car. I needed...
Just a second. You fixed your car.
Yeah, fixed my car.
Yes.
Bought household, like, some furniture and household items I needed.
In what month and year did you move to Minnesota, Mr. Denham?
October 27th of 2023.
And in what month did you get the apartment? Was that also in October?
It was before that. It was in August is when I moved into my apartment.
The apartment he paid for? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you moved in August 1st?
Yep.
Yep is not an answer.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. It's an answer. And he joined you a couple of months later?
Yes.
You were working in California?
Yes.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working for a company called Con Global. It's a car shipping port. I was shipping Teslas.
Did you have a job waiting for you in Minnesota?
Yes, I did, but it fell through. But I later ended up getting a new job.
In Minnesota?
Yeah.
So you were there at the end of October, and you were there the month of November, living together, and the month of December.
Yes.
On December 31st, which is New Year's Eve, you were cooking.
Yes.
What were you cooking?
I was cooking tacos.
For whom?
For the family.
Had you gotten a job, Miss Hofbauer? The answer was either a yes or a no.
No.
So you did not have a job from the time you moved into the apartment until December 31st.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And Mr. Denham was supporting you and your 3 children, because prior to Mr. Denham, you were living in your car.
Yes.
All that is true.
Yes.
So you were cooking tacos.
Yes.
And what happened?
Okay, so the meat had just got done.
No, just a second.
Mm-hmm.
You were cooking tacos, and what happened?
And he got up to get his food first.
To get his food first?
Yes.
And?
I had felt some type of way.
You speak slowly so that I can hear you.
I had felt some type of way when he got up to get his food first.
What did she say?
She felt some type of way when he got up first to get his food.
What kind of way? Don't speak. What kind of way did you feel when Mr. Denham got up to get his food first? And I want you to speak slowly so I don't have to use an interpreter.
I felt like aggravated, like, because, like, I feel like he shouldn't have got his food first. Like,
that he should not have?
No, because, like, I was raised that in my house, ladies eat first before men. That's how I was raised. And I felt some type of way when he got his food first.
Okay, so you were annoyed, some type of way.
Yep.
An unhappy type of way. An unhappy type of way when he went to get his food first, right? Uh-huh, it's not an answer. Yes is an answer.
She ended up actually calling the cops.
Did you speak to the police that day?
Yes.
Well, you just told me a story, then the first couple of lines of the police report are different from the police. I'm just telling you. The first few lines of the police report are different.
Daniel Denham claims his ex-girlfriend, Tamra Hoffbauer, and her daughter, Danae Outlaw, owe for an unpaid loan and unauthorized debit card charges. Tamra is countersuing Daniel for an assault.
Okay, so what did you do? What did you do?
I walked away after, and then he started arguing with my mom.
No, you said something. Look at me. Turn your body around, look at me. What did you say to him when he got up to get his food first?
I said, you shouldn't be able to get your food first. And then I said, you shouldn't be able to get your food first. I was yelling. I was mad. I was like...
You were yelling and you were bad. Just a second. That's better. Because it's like I was there, right? Like I have a camera inside. So you started to yell at Mr. Denham because he was getting his food first.
Yes.
I want to ask you this question. You had now lived in the household with Mr. Denham for 2 months.
Yes.
Had you ever heard your mother and Mr. Denham arguing?
Yes.
What did they argue about?
Money.
What was the argument about?
It was about him trying to say that my mom has to give all the money that he gave to my mom back to him.
Okay, so that they were arguing about this $6,200.
Yes.
That he said, you have to give that back to me.
Yes.
And your mom said...
My mom said that she didn't...
No. He said you have to give that money back to me. Yes. And your mom said what?
No.
No, and that's what they argued about.
Yes.
Yes. So now you're telling me he's got to wait to eat dinner.
Yes.
And you were yelling at him.
Yes.
You yelled at him first.
Yes.
And then what happened?
After I yelled at him, he went to the bed to sit back down to eat his food. And then that's when my mom stepped in to defend me because he was still arguing with me.
Well, just a second. He sat down on the bed to eat his food.
Yep. Yes.
And then your mother came out and he's sitting eating his food.
Yes.
And what did your mother say to him?
Nothing, because like we were still arguing. Me and him were still arguing.
What were you arguing about? He was eating.
He was eating, and he also said that he spent $50,000 on me by myself. That's what made me really mad because like I don't like when people throw money in my face. And then he was trying to throw money in my face, trying to say he spent all the money on me, and he never spent nothing on me.
Well, you were living in a house he paid for. You were eating tacos that he bought.
Yeah, but...
You were living in Minnesota in December, where it's very cold, and he was paying for the heat, right? You were driving around in a car that wasn't working, that your mother had fixed with his money.
Yes.
All of those things are true, right?
Yes.
Okay. That might have entitled him to take his food first. So he's sitting and eating. Your mother comes over to defend you because you're yelling at him about he's taking his food. Yes. And then what happened?
And then after that, him and my mom started arguing.
Okay. Was he still sitting on the bed eating his food? So he's sitting. Is your mother standing or sitting?
She's sitting on the bed, too.
So she's sitting on the bed, and she's yelling at him, and you're yelling at him.
And then I went in my room, and then I let them argue, and then they were both yelling, and then that's when they got, I don't know what happened, because I didn't see him slap my mom really like that. I went in my room, and then he just slapped my mom, and then that's when I came out there.
Well, you said you didn't see that.
No, I didn't really see, like...
Just a second. You said, I didn't see that.
No, like, I ran in my room, after I heard a little bit of it going on, I ran back out there, and, that's when I ran out there to call the police, and I ran in the hallway. Called police, and he ran out there after me, and he snatched my phone out of my hand and hung up the phone and said, don't call the police.
And
And then after that, I ran into the neighbor's house and called the police for them to come because he was trying to take my phone and said, don't call the police when he slapped my mom.
You didn't see that?
No.
No. Somebody have a police report?
I do.
I'd like to see it. You have the district attorney's dismissal of your case?
I wasn't able to obtain it.
Okay, but it's over.
Yeah.
Your case is over. It was never tried. Did you speak to the police that day?
Yes.
Well, you just told me a story, then the first couple of lines of the police report are different from the police. I'm just telling you.
Yes.
The first few lines of the police report are different. You said you were raised that a man doesn't take his food first, they eat last. That's what you just told me, correct? She can read that back. That's why Whitney is here.
Yes.
You told the police that you argued about how much food he took to eat. How much food? Not that he went first. So that wasn't true, right?
Yes. Yes.
Well, this police report is interesting. It says that you got involved in this argument and you poked him in the chest and punched him in the right eye. That's what the police report says.
Oh, I did not.
That's what the police report says. And then he slapped you on the left side of your face with his right hand. That's what the police report says. Is that what happened, sir?
No.
Well, you want to tell me what happened?
I'm going to tell you exactly what happened, Your Honor.
Well, that's what I want to hear, exactly what happened.
I was cooking the food since the beginning. Danae was nowhere to be found. I don't even know where she was at the time I was cooking.
You mean the daughter?
Yeah, the daughter. It was 8 pounds of meat. It was me, her, Danae, Samantha, and the other teenage daughter, Danae. Cooking the food, just cooking it. It's done. No one's trying to eat. I even said it was done. I scooped up my food, one taco, sat down and started eating. She goes in there, scrapes the pot. Damn, Dino, why you eating up all the food?
Who said that?
The daughter. Then she starts going off, telling me demands, telling me I need to get the out of her house.
Is that what you said to him?
Yes, it is.
Shh. Is that what you said to him?
Yes.
Okay. And?
Or she's calling the cops. And she started calling the cops. So I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you calling the cops? I'm not going anywhere. I've been paying all the bills, this, that, and the other. She just kept on going, and she ended up actually calling the cops. And I'm telling her, get off the phone. What are you doing? That's when her mom started jumping in the conversation. She started tripping. And once I brought up that I just helped you guys out from being stranded, this woman punched me in my face twice.
You let go of her hand.
I wasn't even trying to smack her. I was trying to, like, block her from punching me. And I guess the block was like a smack to her. But I didn't smack her.
Okay.
It was like my fingertips.
Whatever.
Her.
She put her hands on you first.
Yes.
That's what it says in the police report. Who was cooking? Careful what you say to me. Just be real careful. Because you got here from Minnesota.
Yes.
I assume you want to get back to Minnesota.
Yes.
You lie to me, you don't get back to Minnesota on my dime. You understand that?
Gotcha.
Who was cooking?
Daniel Denham has accused his ex-girlfriend, Tamra Hoffbauer, and her daughter, Danae Outlaw, of owing for an unpaid loan and unauthorized debit card charges. Tamra claims Daniel assaulted her.
Now, you were arrested, charges were dismissed. Ultimately, that case is over. Am I correct?
Yes.
This is what you're suing for. And I'm not even asking you. I asked your daughter. So I'm not going to ask you about the event. I'm just going to ask you as follows. It is true that August, September, October, November, and December, he supported your family.
Yes.
It is. That would be true. And if I believe your daughter, if I believed your daughter, which I don't, it would have been rude of her,
Yes.
to say to him, what are you doing eating that food first?
Yes.
Would have been rude of her.
Yes.
And when she came to get you, did she come to get you, or did you hear her?
I was in the living room. I was out there.
Okay, so you were there, so you heard what happened.
I saw everything.
Your daughter was rude to the man who was taking care of you and your family. He hadn't been rude to you.
Yes, he was.
Tell me when he was rude to you on December 31st.
He was rude earlier all day that day. He's had an attitude the whole day.
Okay, now, when the police arrested you, how long were you held?
I was held for 3 days.
3 days. From December 31st through January 3rd?
Yes.
And it is your claim that in addition to the $6,200, which your daughter actually acknowledged was a loan because you had been asked to repay it over the entire course of him living there. And that's what you fought about. Look at me. That's what they fought about. Your mother returning the money that he had sent her to get started with her children. They fought about that.
Yes.
That's what you said before.
Yes.
Now, between December 31st and January 3rd, when you were released, were there charges made on your credit card?
Yeah, he spent all my money.
Just a second. Well, I would like to see that.
I also filed a police report about my stolen wallet.
Just a second. So now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, Ms. Hoffbauer. Between December 31st and January 3rd, did you take any money or use any property that belonged to the plaintiff?
I did. I had
just a second.
Permission.
The answer is yes.
Yep. Yes.
And I assume you had no communication with him while he was in jail.
No.
So you didn't have permission to take that money.
Can I say something?
You had no permission to take that.
I did, though. I had his card before. And
whether you had his card before or not.
He gave me his card a couple days before that. That card was in my wallet. And I also have text messages asking his dad to come get his stuff, his wallet. Like, come pick it up. Nobody stole his wallet. Because there was an OFP.
Shh. Who are you?
Samantha Neely.
What do you have to do with this case?
I was there the night of the argument and the assault and pretty much a witness because I'm over with...
Was she there?
Yeah, she was there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I want you to be real careful. Do you understand?
Yes.
Really careful. You can stand up. Who was cooking? Who? Careful what you say to me. Just be real careful.
Dino.
Because you got here from Minnesota.
Yes.
I assume you want to get back to Minnesota.
Yes.
You lie to me, you don't get back to Minnesota on my dime. You understand that?
Gotcha.
Who was cooking?
Dino.
Point. He was cooking. So far, we're doing okay. And when he was finished cooking, he took his food and went over to sit down where?
Onto the mattress in the living room.
Okay. Now, when he took his food, what did she say to him?
She yelled out loud, "You're taking too much food. You shouldn't eat first. Kids and ladies should eat first."
And what did he answer?
He answered, "There's enough to feed everybody."
There was nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
Right. When did she tell him to get out of their house?
Right then and there.
Right then and there. He said, "There's enough to feed everybody," right?
Correct.
And she said, "Get out of my house."
Correct.
Now you can sit down. You can go home to Minnesota. You see, the witness says you're a liar. Do you understand that, don't you? Huh?
Yes.
Your witness, $6,200. How much was withdrawn in total, Mr. Denham, while you were incarcerated?
14, 23, 13.
Did you finally get a job?
Yes.
When?
2 months ago.
Months ago, that would be February. Well, meal ticket was gone. Got to get a job. Okay, 7623, counterclaims dismissed. We're done. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
And I'm just tired of dealing with it. I'm just glad it's over with. Justice is going to always prevail, man, and the truth is going to come out regardless. So I cared about them, you know what I'm saying? I had real love for them, you know? I didn't want to have them out here suffering. I got history with them, so it just killed me that they betrayed me like that and trying to screw me over and think they're going to get away with it. I'm going to get a restraining order. Like, I don't want to ever see him again. It definitely bit the hand that fit him.
That little girl was some piece of work.
Oh, yeah. Not so little. 17.
She's 17.
You're away from being a legal adult.
Yeah, some piece of work. When I saw how this went, felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Felt sorry for him. And he spent 3 days in jail.
Yeah. And you could tell just at 17, you know, that frontal lobe is not fully developed yet. And you knew the situation. You knew you weren't paying the bills. You knew your sister wasn't paying the bills. You knew your mother wasn't paying the bills. And so to pop off because you felt some type of way about the order in which you ate dinner that he paid for, you know, is just so short-sighted and just proves her immaturity. So, you know, not much you could do, but I'm glad he got his money back.
Could you imagine what our household would look like if I yelled every time Poppy ate his food first?
Oh, no, Poppy always eats
Poppy
first.
always eats first.
Yep, and sometimes all of it.
Right.
Ethan Shepard is suing his neighbor, Joseph Hale, for vet bills and pain and suffering.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3016, Shepard versus Hale.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Shepard, how long have you and Mr. Hale been neighbors?
About 3 years.
How long are you living in your property?
About 15 years.
So he's the newcomer?
Yes.
And you are neighbors, but you live across the street from each other?
Or next door.
Right next door? Do you have a photograph of the property?
Yeah.
I'd like to take a look at it. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Your house is on the right or the left?
My house on the left.
And your driveway is all the way left. I see a car in your driveway. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Going into a garage area or the side of the house?
The garage is on the, when it turns in. So like.
Yeah, okay. And the defendant's driveway is close to your house, is on your side of the house?
Yes.
Now, you each have dogs. You have a German Shepherd?
Yeah.
How old?
He's going to be 3. Wait, we got him in 2019. Right, 3? 4. Sorry.
Who's that?
That's my mom.
Yeah. Math. And you have 2 dogs?
Correct.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have cane corsos.
Tell me what they look like.
They look like they're mastiffs.
Could you bring one up, Sarah, for me to take a look at? Sure. Unless you have a photograph.
I do.
She's going to show me anyway, because I know what a German Shepherd looks like.
Oh, a German Shepherd. I thought you were talking about
No,
King
Corso.
Yeah.
Oh, they're big dogs.
Big guys.
Big dogs. How old are your dogs?
About 4 and 3.5.
Anyway, this is what the lawsuit is about. It is your claim that the defendant's dogs, while unleashed, came on your property, attacked your dog was injured. You want the defendant to be responsible for whatever vet bills there were, and for punitive damages, you're suing him for $10,000. Defendant says that your dog actually came onto his property, and then they ran back onto your property, and that your dog was unleashed at the time that this happened. Now, the incident occurred on what date?
On March 5th, 2023.
According to what I read, you were going shopping with your mother or your grandmother? Your mother.
My mother. We're going to drive around the city, practicing for my driving test.
And you were taking the dog with you?
Yes.
And that was the plan. You were going to drive around, the dog was going to sit in the back seat or whatever. And you decided that you had to go to the restroom. So you went back into the house before you left.
Yes.
So your mother is here. And your mother's going to stand up now because your mother was there from the beginning. Your last name is?
Shepard.
Shepard. Miss Shepard, we're going to go to March 5th, approximately what time?
2:30.
I'd like you to go over to that photograph. Now, you were leaving the house with your son. He said, I have to go back into the house, go to the bathroom, and you were taking the Shepherd with you. Show me where you were getting into the car.
So my car was parked here. Buck and I came out of the front door, and we're standing about here. Buck went into the yard about right here, was smelling around.
Just a second. So let's do this slowly.
Okay.
You come out of the house with Buck.
Yeah. So we walked across the driveway.
Yes.
Into the front yard about here.
That's not what you said a moment ago. A moment ago, you said you were standing here and Buck walked over to the grass. That's what you said a moment ago.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I want you to be very, very careful.
Okay.
Let's be very careful because I'm creating a picture in my mind, and I don't want the picture that you create for me to be different from what actually happened.
Okay.
Do we understand each other?
Yeah.
You walked out of the house with Buck.
Yes.
You were going to go in your car.
Yeah.
You were standing where?
I was standing here in the driveway.
You were standing in the driveway, and the dog
walked into the yard about here.
Okay, to relieve himself.
He was just smelling.
Smelling?
Yeah.
Okay, and at that time, the dog was unleashed.
Correct, because we were about to get into it.
Not because.
Okay.
The dog, a big dog, was unleashed.
Yes.
And so now he's in the middle of the yard, unleashed.
Correct.
And what happened next?
I walked onto the grass by the dog. I was going to start putting him in the car. I turned.
Did you call him? Did you call him to come to you?
No, I was standing next to him.
No, you weren't. You were in the driveway. You said you started to walk over. You said you started to walk over.
Correct.
And I said to you, did you call him first because you're standing in the driveway? Did you say, Buck?
No.
Well, how are you going to get him? You're going to grab his collar? How are you going to grab him to put him in the car?
Shepard claims his neighbor, Joseph Hale, owes for vet bills and pain and suffering. Joseph is countersuing for damages from an assault with a baseball bat.
Now, I said to you, did you call him first because you're standing in the driveway? Did you say, Buck?
No.
Well, how are you going to get him? You're going to grab his collar? How are you going to grab him to put him in the car?
I walked to him to bring him to the car. I didn't call his name. I just walked to him.
And how are you going to bring him? I mean, you know, when I say...
He's going to follow me to the car.
Well,
he knows we're getting him. He knew we were going to get into the car.
Well, you know, he didn't know you were going to get into the car if you called him.
I didn't have time to say anything.
Well, you had time to walk over. Instead of walking over, why don't you just call him? You're closer to the car from the driveway than you are going to the grass. That's what I want you to be really careful about, Miss Shepard. I want you to be really careful about what you say to me because I'm a dog owner. Okay. I've had puppies that I don't trust outside by themselves. And then when they get older, if I was standing in the driveway and my dog, according to you, knew we were going in the car, I would have said, Buck, let's go. That's just normal for a dog owner, for a dog that's 4 years old. Buck, let's go. Not walking over and leaning over and grabbing him because he's unleashed by a collar, which I assume he had on, to walk him over to the car. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, let's continue with this.
Okay.
So now the dog is unleashed. You're walking over on the grass.
Correct. And I'm standing next to Buck. I'm walking towards him, looking out towards the street because I'm walking forward. I see Bruno, the black dog, look at us. He takes off running around our little fence here and starts heading over to where I am standing with Buck. I start screaming, no, Buck, no. Buck turns and sees Bruno. Bruno is on him. They're wrestling, they're chasing, they're running to our porch. I'm running behind them, screaming. I run inside my house, grab a bat. We have bats at our front door because there's a lot of homeless people and we have to protect ourselves. They've come to the door before. While I'm getting the bat, I throw off my sandals. My mom hears me screaming, who was in the living room. She stands up, goes to the door. Ethan was in the bathroom, going to the bathroom. They both run out into the front yard. I follow them out. When I come out, I now see Joe.
Who's Joe? Raise your hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Joe, our neighbor. He is now in our yard. The female dog, Beulah, is on Buck. They're fighting.
Show me where.
By my, this isn't my car, this is my dad's, but my car was here. They're fighting by my car. The dogs are biting. Joe's on the ground in between the dogs with Beulah's collar. My son is standing there screaming. Bruno, the black dog that had started the fight, was now on our grass. He was headed home. He turned back and looked at me, and I had the bat, and I'm screaming at him, go home, Bruno, go home. Out of my yard. Joe is saying, hit him, in the midst of him with the dogs fighting. I chased Bruno into his yard. So now Bruno is standing here.
Now this fence is how this fence stops on the property before the property ends.
Yeah, it goes, there's a couple feet where it's just free. There's like a meter thing in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah.
How high is that fence?
Maybe to my knees.
Oh, I see it, please.
Oh, here's
Okay, like you can hop over it. I'm standing here yelling at Bruno.
Oh, this is an easy hop fence. This is yes. This isn't a high fence. This is a hop fence. It's not designed to do anything, but visually separate the property. I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop for a moment. Go back.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Hale,
Yes.
I'd like you to go over to the same photograph.
Mm-hmm.
You were in your garage.
Correct, with the dogs.
This is your garage.
Correct.
With your garage door open.
Correct.
With your dogs unleashed.
Correct.
Somehow your unleashed dogs got out.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So on Sunday, 2:30, March 5th, I was in my garage with the dogs, and I noticed their dog came to the fence line and came over. My dogs came to here. They're looking at each other. Their dog growls. The dogs run out, come over, start running over here. I give chase.
Okay, let's stop there. I want you to read that back to me, and I want you to listen carefully to what Whitney is going to read.
Okay, so on Sunday, 2:30, March 5th, I was in my garage with the dogs, and I noticed their dog came to the fence line and came over.
Came to the fence line. Just stop there 1 second. Show me the fence line. Show me came over. Careful. Show me came over.
Technically not came over it.
Okay,
on the fence
that's
line.
what I wanted to make sure. So technically, there's nothing technically. That's like basically.
Correct.
Their dog did not come on your property. Their dog came to the fence. Your dogs came to the fence, but their dog did not come on your property. Go back. That's either a yes or a no. Your dogs came around and went on their property.
Correct, after their dog growled at my dogs.
That's okay. Dogs growl. That's what dogs do. That's what dogs do. Your dogs got on to their property. And as a result of that, their dog was injured, and you're responsible for the vet bills. That's easy. You're responsible for the vet bills. Their dog was unleashed. If you had said to me, yes, their dog came around to and then scooted back to my property, we would have had a whole different scenario here. But their unleashed dog was on their property, and your unleashed dogs came on their property, and there was a dog fight, and you're responsible. Now, I also understand, sir, that this was not the first time that there has been an incident involving your two dogs.
Correct.
Is that right? The first one was several years before.
Correct.
And at that time, several years before, there was also some injury to the German Shepherd.
Ethan Shepard is accusing his neighbor, Joseph Hale, of owing for vet bills after Joseph's dogs attacked his dog. Joseph is countersuing, claiming he was assaulted with a baseball bat.
Now, I also understand, sir, that this was not the first time that there has been an incident involving your two dogs.
Correct.
Is that right? The first one was several years before.
Correct.
And at that time, several years before, there was also some injury to the German Shepherd.
Correct.
Well, do you own your house?
No.
You rent?
Correct.
How long have you rented there?
4 years.
You have a landlord?
Correct.
You have homeowners insurance?
I had renter's insurance.
You had renter's insurance. You don't have any more?
No.
You want to tell me why?
The renter's insurance, it lapsed 2 weeks prior to the first altercation. And then after that first altercation, the Shepherds, during all that, I paid the vet bills and took care of everything as I should.
From your insurance?
No.
Without your insurance?
Without my insurance, out of pocket. And then they got an attorney involved and tried to sue over that incident. Well, with that being said,
your insurance company dropped you?
Correct.
Well, of course, because when you applied for renter's insurance, did you tell them that you had 2 King Corsos?
Yes, they did.
And they probably upped your premium? Did they up your premium?
No.
Sarah Rose, there's a registry for the top, well, they're more than the top 5, but just give me the top 5 most dangerous dogs as rated by insurance companies.
So I have a Forbes article that discusses dog breeds that are banned by the top insurance companies, and it puts them percentage of banned lists with this breed.
Let's go to German Shepherds.
45% banned.
45%.
They're banned 40% of the time by insurance companies.
40.
45.
45. And what about King Corsos?
19% of the time they're dropped or not offered coverage due to the breed of the dog.
So I would suggest that you have these big dogs and you have no insurance anymore.
Correct.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I do.
Make a salary?
Yes.
You know, something happens, they can attach your salary. Something happens with those two dogs, they can attach your salary. So you can't be cavalier about these large dogs that have already showed a propensity that they can be violent. That's on you. You know, it's one thing, and believe me, I'm not minimizing the fact that a dog was injured, but it could just as well have been a small child that ventured onto your property. You have to keep those dogs in check all the time. You too. There's a reason why you're supposed to have dogs under your control at all times. And I say this, especially big dogs that can cause serious damage. Now, what were your vet bills?
Total of $377.33.
I'd like to see them.
Sorry.
Just a little comic relief for me. Could you tell me how $322.90 translates into $10,000?
For emotional distress. For
Whose?
attacks. Mine.
Whose? For yours?
Yeah.
You were in the bathroom.
No, I came out during the fight.
I know.
Okay.
$322.
Okay.
That's on your team. You have a counterclaim for $10,000.
Yes.
And your counterclaim is that while you were trying to separate these dogs, you got bit.
I did get bit on my hands and wrists, and I have pictures.
And why do you think he's responsible for that?
It was their dog that
Who
bit.
cares? The incident was, put your hand down. The incident was precipitated by your dogs not being under your control. And if you got into the mix and try to separate them and their dog bit you, well, that's what happens. That's why you should keep your dogs on leashes. I would like you to walk over to that photograph and point out to me on the photograph where you were when your hand got bitten.
I was right here.
You were on their property, right?
Correct.
Now you understand? Now, if you had been on your property and their unleashed dog followed you back to your property and you were on your property, I'd hear you. But you're on their property. You were getting your dogs back in between the dog fight. Counterclaims dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $322. We're finished. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
Well, I'm just happy it's over and we get to go back to being neighbors.
I think it was fair that he had to pay the vet bills, but I think emotional distress could have been given a little bit as well.
I dove into the middle of the dog fight and separated my dog from both dogs fighting, and I brought my dog back onto the property.
Traumatic. Seeing my dog get attacked for the second time by these same dogs and having to live it all again.
Their investigation was to see who was at fault, but both dogs were off leash, so they deemed no one at fault.
I think it was fair. I just wish that we could have touched base on the main reason why we're here. It was my son's emotional distress. He had to see a psychologist. Seeing our dog in distress and his demeanor had changed. I mean, I'm happy with her ruling, but I just wish we would have had a little more say.
That was from the first altercation 2 years ago. He was bitten in a dog fight. We did not determine if it was my dog or his dog.
They came out because we felt that if the dogs needed to be taken, or we just felt like it was the right thing to do, that they needed to come out.
Well, we just both keep our dogs on a leash and stay away from each other.
I know that list was a little confusing, but I wanted just to read it word for word. I guess the way Forbes had it illustrated was just the percentage of those types of dogs that are banned on the top insurance companies' lists as far as home insurance, renter's insurance. So I'd assume German Shepherds came up higher just because they're more known or
probably more popular
breed.
Popular breed.
But King Corsos were right up there. I'd be scared of both dogs if they came running in my yard.
Yeah, it's so frightening, and I love dogs, but I'm not a big dog lover.
You're a small
I'm
dog.
a little dog person, because if they bite you, they can't kill you. They can nip you and, could be uncomfortable for a couple of days. But I would be petrified if 2 Cane Corsos came running in my direction and nobody was in tethered control of them. And people think, their dogs are wonderful with them, they're gentle, but this defendant had a history with his dogs. He actually paid out of pocket a couple of years ago for injuries that his dogs caused. Anyway, you have a big dog, you're supposed to have big responsibility. You want less responsibility? Get a Chihuahua.